What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Long Run Podcast. This is Adam, and I'm joined by some of my favorite people in the entire world. And today we've got a very, very special episode going on. Many, many years ago, 4 years ago, in fact, there was once a review that we did of the original Justice League. Now, in the current modern age, in current times, somehow, some way, there has been another cut of said Justice League movie. And we thought there was nothing better than bringing almost the entire band back together from that original review to finally review this movie. And many of them are sitting here, not right next to me, but virtually they're sitting right next to me, and I couldn't be more excited. We've brought back nearly the entire cast, and we're going to be going over Zack Snyder's Justice League, a.k.a. the Snyder Cut today. So joining me, and to my right, at least on Discord, it's going to be Jake. How you doing today, man?
Hey, it's good to be to your right, virtually. Glad to be here.
Good to have you too, man. We actually haven't had Jake since 2017 in review. That was a couple episodes ago. So it's been a long time. Been a long time since we've had him, and I'm really, really happy to have you back, man.
Yeah, I've been out in Chicago getting squeezed for my doctorate. Rough times, definitely. And next to him is Darren, who actually, the Justice League review was his podcast debut, and unfortunately, the last time that he was on the podcast. How you doing today, man?
Hey, it's good to be back here. Honestly, hearing your voice with that whole intro, you're like the Bruce Buffer of podcasts. It just feels good hearing everything, even though I'm not sitting next to you, hearing your voice means a lot.
Nah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. It just feels good to be talking with the squad again, like old times. And sitting next to Darren, and we've actually been physically here, is someone that's actually making their podcast debut. It is Neil. What is up, dude?
Hello. It's good to be here. It's been a while since I actually sat in with one of your guys' podcasts. It must have been probably my freshman year of college, the last time I'd done it.
Oh yeah, I remember you were there for some of those reviews. I remember. It was simpler times for sure. We're happy to have you, Neil. And it was such a wonderful surprise to hear your voice. So good to have you here, man.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and next to Darren, of course, is a staple, a veteran of the Long Run Podcast. It is Austin, who is in fact not eating, as many of you might suspect. How are you doing today?
The meme is dead.
The meme is dead. Has been killed.
He's given up eating.
Yes.
We've broken the streak.
He's fasting.
Truly, this is the Avengers of movie reviewing, and I'm very happy that we've come together to slay. That is Thanos. I guess Warner Brothers is Thanos in this case.
Sure.
The big brother tried to get rid of a good superhero movie, but you know what?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? What if we have something to say about it?
Totally. And how does it feel, Austin? I know you're pretty sentimental about these things. This is actually your first. We haven't seen you since The Last Jedi, where you fell asleep during the review.
That's right, because it was 4 hours. It was, what was it, 5 hours?
It was almost 5 hours.
5 hours. And I was also asleep during the movie. If you recall.
A full night's sleep, then.
Yeah.
It's nice to be back, of course. This is a big movie, and I hope to remember all of it. But luckily, some of my friends here have taken notes.
For sure. And next to Austin, it is the biggest DC fan here. He's our resident chef. He's actually someone who's here since the inception of the Long Run Podcast. He was our producer at one point, but now he is off and doing his own thing and doing great things. But we actually haven't seen him since Justice League. It is Matt. How you doing today, man?
I am doing very good. I am excited to talk about this film. I have a lot of stuff to say.
I'm sure.
On the Snyder Cut and the theatrical cut. My opinion has greatly changed since the previous podcast that I was on. But I'm just really excited to be here and finally come back and talk about a movie with you guys again.
Yeah, it feels good to have the squad back together, and definitely listening to the review again, looking back on it. Yeah, Matt, you were super positive about it, so I'm excited to hear more. And last but certainly not least, it is the most famous person from our podcast. It is Ethan, not seen since The Last Jedi, just like Austin. How you doing today?
I retired after that.
He went on an extended hiatus.
I quit movies after that.
Brought you back for one job.
Yeah, that's
one more job.
You got me. I'm here. I want to go home, but I mean I'm already home, but I want to go home.
I'm sure.
I'm excited. This will be an interesting review.
Oh,
Adam.
It will definitely be an interesting review. So, I think it's only fair if we're gonna go down this road, right? We actually have to look back. 4 years ago, very different times. And I remember when we all went to go watch Justice League on, I believe it was Thanksgiving kind of weekend. I remember the state of DC at the time, right? We had all talked about how Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, they had been on a string of defeats with really only Wonder Woman being this crowning success. We all hoped that Justice League would be really, really good. For most of us, it was not. I would say most of us found it a little average, with Matt being someone who seemed to really, really enjoy it, giving it an 8 out of 10, though I know you said that your feelings have changed. But since then, right, the DCEU has changed a lot, right? We had Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 1984. I would, in fact, go as far to say that DCEU, while definitely not as big as Marvel Studios and like the empire, the machine that they've created, they're definitely not like the laughing stock anymore. How do you all feel about DC? How far have they come since then, leading up to the Snyder Cut?
Are we go on?
Okay. Jake, do you want to go?
No, go on, Matt. You're the guy who knows what's up.
I couldn't agree more with you, Adam. Definitely when DC only really had those 3 movies, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Wonder Woman, they were not in a good spot in terms of theatrical movie presence. Just like you said, 2 out of those 3 were heavily panned by a lot of people, and Suicide Squad was just obliterated into just the ground with negativity. And then coming off of that, Aquaman, it wasn't. How should I say this? It wasn't as bad, but it was a step in the right direction. And then Shazam, in my opinion, really hit it out of the park. I think that was one of the better ones.
Shazam was great. Great.
Shazam, the best one.
I love Shazam. Birds of Prey was very meh. There was nothing really offensive, but like nothing in terms of like how good Shazam was, and I should say. And Wonder Woman 1984 was another hit in the Wonder Woman kind of like field of movies. So I couldn't agree more with you, Adam. I think the DCEU is in a much better place than when it was 4 years ago.
Absolutely. Jake, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to ask if we're just talking also about I know DC Comics is also pretty good. Like they had their, I mean, this is a while ago now, like the DC Rebirth stuff, and that's been, people really like that, and I've read a few of them, and that's pretty good. So their storytelling ability.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying like they can tell good stories. It's just whether or not like Warner Brothers steps all over it or not.
Yeah. I think we can all agree, especially having watched this cut, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that a little bit more. If this was in fact Zack Snyder's original creative vision, the original Joss Whedon cut, whatever you want to call it, Warner Brothers cut, is a totally different movie in a lot of ways, even if the overall plot is generally the same. You could tell that they're very, very different creative visions. Did anyone else have any comments they wanted to make about DC since the original Justice League cut came out?
I think it's.
What was that?
It's okay.
Okay.
I think it's
okay.
all right.
It's all right.
I think it's okay. I think they spent a lot more money.
Oh yeah.
Then, but I don't know if the quality increased. But
totally.
They're not as like, well, I remember going into the theater thinking that they needed this movie to be good because they were in such a precarious spot. But since then, they have had good movies, which is
they have changed their approach. I think where it seems to be more about standalone in a way.
Is Joker DCEU?
Good question.
It's not DCE. They do this whole weird thing where it's like it's a multiverse, but it's also an extent. It's weird. DC, I think, is right now in general just trying to figure out what exactly their overall strategy is, and I'm sure that we're going to see that more roll out, especially as they release movies on HBO Max as well as in theaters, all that other stuff.
Right. Because go ahead. I had a question.
No, I was gonna make a joke. Go ahead.
There's gonna be 3 different people playing Batman in the next few years, right?
Yep.
Oh, yo.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
So it's gonna get a little. I don't know. So maybe my opinion will change. You know, I mean, they've proven that they can do good work. I just don't know the direction that they're going.
Right. It all remains to be seen, and obviously we know there are a couple movies that are coming. The Suicide Squad, the Batman. We know that they are also developing some series up for HBO Max, like Peacemaker, things of that, Aquaman 2 as well. So there's the future of DC does look bright, but of course, I suppose at this point, one thing that we've all told ourselves is like we don't want to get our hopes up too much because DC has certainly disappointed us a lot in the past, right?
Yeah.
Now, specifically, I do want to hone in a little bit on the original cut of Justice League and your reflections on it. I'm sure, like Austin, I remember you said you don't even remember it, but for those of you who do actually remember a little bit, what do you have to say about it?
Wasn't that good?
It was long.
It was a very odd movie, right?
Definitely.
Like it felt like you could tell even before the Zack stuff came out that like things were like missing. Like it just felt like it felt like they had like a movie that they were gonna make, but then like they just changed the last second.
Right.
And it felt like they had like a list of things like, okay, you need to set this up, right? And it was just ticking those boxes.
Lots of check boxes for sure.
Yeah, just that. And yeah, otherwise kind of I guess anticlimactic is probably the word for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time missing boxes. But
ooh.
It's hard to talk about it now, like trying to think about it without comparing it to the Zack Snyder cut now.
Well,
because you can hold the two now and be like, this is all that's missing from one side. Like, why isn't it in your cut, Whedon, kind of thing.
Right.
So it's kind of hard now to view one without the other.
Yeah, I definitely think that if you remember the original cut, and this is something that happened to me, right? The entire time I was watching Snyder Cut, I was just like, oh, so they did this instead of that compared to the original cut. Like, it just happened automatically, which I think is an interesting experience because it's not really something that we see too much, especially among big, mainstream blockbusters. So that's part of why I'm so excited to do this review, because for the first time ever, we're actually not reviewing like a completely new movie, but it's just like another cut of a movie, which I think is actually really, really cool. Darren or Neil, is there anything you guys want to say about the original Joss Whedon cut or DC in general?
Sure, yeah. I felt like the first cut, there was like too many plot holes with it. You're introducing characters that didn't have standalone movies, so you're just pushing too much, forcing and pressuring into one movie.
Right.
Where you honed it out, like spread it out, have more character development in other forms or whatnot. But you had the debut of, say, Flash and Cyborg in the same movie. Aquaman didn't even have a standalone at that time. Right. So there's just too many factors going in. And the Justice League also has like other characters other than that, say Green Lantern, that's not even a character that existed at the time. But I felt like at first it was just too much pressure, too much force, and it just, watching it, something just felt off the first time around. So I remember my initial movie review was like, it was a fun movie, but I don't think I'm going to remember it in a week.
That's definitely a good way of describing it. Another one that I remember too was Jake was saying like, I give it 2 mother boxes out of 3, which I think
you didn't make it to the 3rd mother box. Never got that one.
For sure. And Neil, is there anything you wanted to say, man?
Yeah, no, I would definitely say for the original, pretty much kind of like in line with Darren for the most part, is like my personal gripe with it was it definitely felt like rushed and there was like too many elements introduced.
Absolutely.
I'm just kind of not a fan of introducing characters that you have really no background on, and then everyone's kind of like, okay, well, this is like, let's just put it together and we'll have like some type of plot for it to follow. And there you go. But it definitely did feel rushed to me in the sense, and I actually didn't see the Zack Snyder cut, so I can't really say much about that. But I would assume, for the most part, it was
Welcome to
Oh, no.
Hey, I got like 80% of it
What's
done.
happening?
That's passing.
He is a guest. Yeah, at least Neil's a guest.
Hey,
Yeah, that's
Neil,
right, yeah,
Neil
yeah.
is like Neil is like AJ. Go ahead, Neil. Sorry.
Yeah, right. He's the AJ stand-in.
I mean, I could just put on 8 times speed right now and just grind it through.
Thank you.
God.
Thank you.
For those of you who don't know, AJ was someone that was at the original review. Didn't say anything, which is usually what he does during our reviews, but he was there. But yeah, so I totally. It seems like we're all on the same page in regards to that. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So the movie begins, and it opens.
Yes.
It opens with a recap, I guess, of what happened at the end of Batman v Superman. As always, full spoiler review and discussion here. Like, if you're coming to this review,
In case you didn't realize.
yeah, in case you're coming to this review for non-spoilers, you're in the wrong place. So it opens right with the recap of what happened in Batman v Superman, where Superman died, and all in real dramatic, and then like it like this his death roar scream, whatever you want to call it, reverberates throughout the entire
Hold
world.
on. You even jumped it a bit.
Oh,
First off, it leads in saying like this is Zack Snyder's original
yeah.
vision or whatever, and then it turns the film into a square.
It is 4x3 aspect
crushes
ratio.
down.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that when we get talk about the cinematography of the movie. But you're absolutely right that was the first thing that happened.
Yeah, he starts screaming.
Yeah, so
Much like me watching this movie, Superman is screaming for his life.
Oh my god.
And it goes outwards, and we see it go over the entire like DC universe. Well, I guess the world anyway. Like the worlds, and it activates the mother boxes.
Yeah,
And just like Ethan screams, things that should stay asleep awake.
Yes, awake.
And that thing's name, Young Neil.
That's right.
basically.
I don't know. I had to choose. Yeah.
Go back to sleep, Neil.
Right, and
yes, and
we should also acknowledge too that the Snyder cut, because it is like 4 hours long, they've divided it into what they call chapters, right? Or was it just parts?
Part 2.
Yeah, so it is divided into certain
parts. Yeah.
Into certain sections. And the first section is called "Don't Count on It, Batman." So I think what they were trying to say with this was like show people's reactions to the death of Superman and how it was like supposed to like make people sad. All right, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I will say, the screaming thing is weird just because like it looks weird. Just
Right.
to like hear and you hear his voice every time, like oh. But it does like help it to make sense like why the mother boxes are coming back.
Right.
Because like I'm trying to remember, was the scream present in the original movie? I don't know if it was.
So. Well, it wasn't.
To this degree.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't to that degree. I'm sure he screamed when he got stabbed. Like he
Yeah,
he wasn't silent when
that
it happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Because this at least sets it up better for like, oh, okay, Superman dying causes these things to activate.
Yes, I agree.
Well, yeah. But are we going to talk about the battle between Darkseid?
Do you want to talk about that? We could talk about that now. I was gonna get to the part where
I think we're going in order.
Yeah. We're Wonder Woman. We're Wonder Woman.
I think we're in Iceland now, right?
Yeah.
Batman comes over the mountain.
Yeah. So
and he's like,
he decides instead of taking a plane or a helicopter, because I guess the weather was really bad.
The weather was really bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. So he decided to go over the mountain. This is Iceland. And
but you can't just take a plane anywhere. I mean, you know, strip.
Even for Bruce Wayne, right? Even for Bruce Wayne.
Money can't solve everything.
It's true.
Well,
it can solve a lot though.
We find out he's going on this what looks like a small fishing village, and soon we realize that he is trying to recruit Aquaman, because remember at the end of Batman v Superman, he says he needs to find a team because there's going to be an attack. He's been having these visions, all this sort of thing. So he tries to get Aquaman. There's this scene, where he's at the bar and he's trying to talk to the village leader, and unbeknownst to us, Aquaman's being like the translator, but then they have this confrontation. Okay. Regardless, ends up being that they have that talk, and Batman says, "Hey, I want you to join the team." What did you all think about this sequence in Iceland? I have a lot of mixed feelings on it.
The Game of Thrones moment.
Yeah.
He's like in the court.
it was cool. It was.
Oh,
I
yeah.
appreciated like how was this all like. Was there added stuff to this? Because I thought this was in the original.
All of the
stuff, yeah.
all the footage that you see in the Snyder cut was either originally shot when they were first shooting the movie, or there's like I believe he said there's 5 minutes of new footage, and most of it you can kind of tell like what's in the epilogue and some other stuff. But all this other stuff they just left it on the cutting room floor, which is why you didn't see it in the original cut.
Okay.
And the other thing to understand too is that in this cut, none of what Joss Whedon shot and reshoots is ever used. None of it.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah,
as it should be.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, fair.
I thought this sequence was cool. It was like kind of a nice way to lead you into kind of what this film is, which is a little slower, a little more people talking to each other, and everything was pretty cool except for the part where they start singing for some reason.
Yeah, okay.
I was gonna bring that up.
I'm glad that I wasn't the only one, because I was like, okay, so he said no, I get it. Okay, that's built some cool like conflict, and then like he leaves, and I'm just like, okay, and then we spend like 5 minutes of them singing. And
that's like a trait of this movie, is that like there'll just be this long scene of, like,
lingers.
Because basically what happens is Aquaman returns to the sea. And like the Icelandic women like mourn the loss of their hunky Aquaman.
I did too.
Eye candy.
Yeah.
And it was weird too because like he strips and leaves his clothes, and then the woman grabs the clothes and starts sniffing it, and it was like, what's happening?
Oh, come on.
What I'm wondering is like, so at this point, like in the timeline of like the DC, like did Aquaman and Batman already had they met yet, or was this like the first time?
So they hadn't met before, but what's it called? He saw it on all those clips he stole from LexCorp or whatever, right? He saw like the little YouTube clip of Aquaman in the sea. And I guess that's how he got tipped off that Aquaman was a thing.
The only thing that like kind of stood out to me is I felt like Jason Momoa is like a little too distinct to try and pretend to be the translator. He's like standing there, and he's like the only brown guy for like 100 miles. It's you. Like,
which one of you is Aquaman? Is it the old man?
Yeah, the old man, or is it like dude who's like got hair? And he's like,
That's a good
literal
point.
god.
Yeah, I felt like he kind of just like showed up, and I was like, oh, okay. Because that's why I'm asking, like, did he already know him? Because it felt like we had seen him before. Because like he just kind of appears on screen.
No, that's a good point. And one thing I do want to say too, and I want to establish this because this is a really, really long movie. It's 4 hours long, right? And we talk about this.
It's not even done.
Yeah.
I have, what is it? Half an hour left.
Oh my god.
So
I'm in the part where Barry's going back in time.
That was a good part, though.
That's a good part. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
But what I do want to say is like this is one of those things that I really have to say, like, Zach, like, great. I'm so happy for you that you got to do your original vision, but like this is exactly the kind of things that you should cut. Like, it adds nothing to the story where like they're singing for like 5 minutes. They show, not only do they show Aquaman leaving, they show Batman leaving the scene, and they still linger on them singing and sniffing his clothes, and then they finally transition. It's like, all right.
Because like in his defense, he's trying to set a tone.
Absolutely.
He's trying to like, this is a very specific tone that he wants.
Right.
It's very like oh God's morning.
Yes.
It's very long.
The thing about and this is like whether you like it or hate it, you can definitely say that Zach has a very specific vision for Justice League. And you can tell just not only by the way scenes are shot and the way the pacing is, but he really does view these heroes as gods, literal living gods kind of thing. And obviously Wonder Woman is more analogous to that, but he does view the Supermans, the Aquamans of the like in the same light, and that's how he frames them. That's how he treats the scenes. Like that's why they're singing when he leaves, because apparently that's an Icelandic folk song or something like that. I don't know if that's actually real, but that's what I read on the internet. So I'm sure all of the way it was all deliberate. Like he did that because he wants to continue to set them up as gods.
And that's one of my things that I liked about the Snyder Cut. It was refreshing to get a movie that like you could see the director's vision.
Right.
It didn't feel like it was sterilized through like a corporate like like management coming in and telling him, no, you need to have a pop song because that.
It didn't seem like a Disney movie, is what you're saying. It didn't seem like a Marvel movie.
Well, not even like a Marvel movie. It's just you could feel what he's trying to envision. Like you can physically feel like what he's taken from his face and his brain and trying to put in front of you.
It's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
The movie.
It's
it feels like one
movie.
guy said, "Let's do it like this," and they're like, "Okay."
Yeah. And like you could like it, you can dislike it, and I'm sure we'll give our opinions on that. But you're absolutely right. Like this is someone's vision. You can't take that away. Like this is something that you could tell. One guy had an idea, and he set out to do it, and it seems like it was almost completely uncompromised in that regard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's not get lost in the weeds.
Yeah. Absolutely. So after this, I believe this is when they go to Themyscira, where Wonder Woman is from, right? And they show the box waking up, and then there's the whole action sequence where Steppenwolf and the rest of the parademons come down and take the box, and we later learned the backstory of it all. But that's I believe that's the next scene, right? I'm not skipping anything.
Actually, it's actually fucking. They might have moved it, but
it's
because
Lois
Wonder Woman
Lane and her latte.
Yeah, Lois Lane and her latte. What happens after is there's more music.
Oh yes, you're right.
Because they did that thing where they told us our gods will outlive us, blah, 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 and it's all these like mournful scenes. It's Lois getting coffee and being sad.
Yeah.
And it cuts to the gun stuff.
It cuts to the
robbery. The robbery. Because it goes to the Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
It goes to Wonder Woman saving the kids. Basically.
You're right. Yes, you're right. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I skipped all that. So
no, I got notes.
And that scene is cool. Again,
Ethan
still really cool.
So how did you all feel? Because this is the first of many what I would just call the character music videos in this movie with Lois. With Lois and her coffee. How did you all feel about this?
Yes.
Wait, what are we talking about? It was Lois or the robbery?
Lois. When she has her coffee and she gives it to the police guard, and you have the music in the background, and she's grieving. Like, how did you all feel about this? Because this is the first of many character music videos.
I actually thought for a second, like, is the Zach cut gonna be a musical? Like, is this because it was 2 long songs after another. I was like, oh my, is that what they cut? Like these musics?
Zach, I don't think you know what this movie
ambitious.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, just more establishing stuff, more taking his time.
Right.
It was fine.
Isn't it true that Lois didn't show up in the original cut until Superman got resurrected?
I think so.
Probably.
Oh, I think
probably.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like this a little bit better just because I was reminded she existed.
Yeah.
And,
that's good. That's definitely a good thing.
But that's like what this first half of the movie is. It's just establishing like scenes, characters, and tones. So that in the second half, it's just like go kind of thing.
Yeah, like a movie.
Yeah.
You're right.
I have
an actual structure.
Yes. I actually agree here. And the first time I saw it, like in isolation, like in sequence, I was like, okay, this is good. And I'll give Zach, and this happens with all of his movies. He certainly knows how to frame things. He knows how to shoot things very well, make them look nice. I thought the tone felt really, really good for it. I just didn't expect that there would be 8 other music videos in the entire movie. But in isolation, I think it actually works really, really well. And I agree with Austin as well. Like, at least we get Lois doing something, and we can complain or vouch for her character in this movie. But I'm glad that she's at least given some sort of arc, and we're touching on what her story is and everything surrounding it. Darren, was there anything you want to say about this?
Don't really remember the part, to be honest.
That's all right, man. Don't worry about it. Okay. All right. The next thing is the robbery. Where was this robbery? Is it Paris? Is it London? I don't remember.
London.
London.
I believe London.
London.
It was London.
No, it was, yeah.
Pretty sure they were all British.
Yes. So,
because
they
they said like because there's a bunch of British like schoolgirls and stuff like oh no, like St. Mary's had an off day at the museum, and that's why they were there.
Yeah.
Were they at a museum? I thought it was a bank.
No, it was a museum.
It was something.
It was a museum. Some sort of place of cultural relevance.
And again, the bad guys are so stupid. They're just like, we're gonna set Europe back by blowing up a museum or whatever.
Yeah,
like, what is your
were they anarchists? Like, I couldn't really.
No, they definitely were. They definitely were.
They were like techno anarchists, like terrorist types who just wanted to like cause some trouble. Like, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't make sense,
but I will say, and I wanted to say this, I think this is a universal thing for me through this cut.
Right.
Everything that tried to be sinister was much more sinister in this version than it was in the theatrical version. Sometimes by far.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This time, I did feel a little bit more threatened by them than the very paltry treatment these robbers got in the theatrical cut.
Right.
But especially our main villain, which I'll get to, like so much more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Gravitas and a sinister feeling in this cut.
So I know that I believe in in our original review we actually liked this action scene, especially because it was coming off of Wonder Woman, which is the only undisputed really good movie in DC. So we were all happy to see her finally show up and kind of do her thing. I still think it's relatively, from what I can remember, it's basically the same except they changed the tone a little bit. But I think
it's a bit more dire.
Yeah, it's a bit more dire. I do think it was well done. And the choreography.
I got a note on it.
Yes,
I got a note on it.
Go ahead. Jake.
So 2 things. First off, was the music different? Because I feel like they had this ululation that was really cool.
Was different.
Yeah. Okay, but the thing is, like you're saying, the thing is, Jake. Every time Wonder Woman is on screen in this movie, they play the same fucking musical stage.
I know what you're talking about.
No. It's like, it's like this fucking. And because the thing is, I had like subtitles on when I was watching this. I didn't want. Yes, it was Ancient Lamentation. I saw that like 6 times. Like every time you're in a fight, it's like.
Yeah,
and it was a cool, but I agree with you. It was like okay.
That just stuck out to me. Like they use the same sound.
It gets old real quick. Like it's cool because she's an ancient warrior, blah blah blah. But then like they do it like Eden said like 8 more times. It's like okay. But yeah.
Second part.
Yeah, go ahead.
The second part before I forget, and I think we'll talk about this, is that when Wonder Woman beats up these dudes, there are blood spots where they land.
Yes.
And and it's like, they didn't have that in the original. There are blood spots now.
It is definitely more violent. Like when I forget what the move is called, but when she clashes her armbands together, and she like causes them all to fall out, and like the buildings, like materials, like most of them are probably dead when they get concrete on you. Like, which I thought was really funny because like she kills them, and then the little girl's like, "Can I be like you when I grow up?" It's like she wants to be a killer. Like, it was a little bit of a weird like tonal thing there, but I understood what they were trying to say.
It's funny because like she's trying to stop the building from exploding, right? And then she blows it up anyway.
We definitely commented on that the first time around too.
Yeah.
It was good though, and I especially like the part where she blocks all the bullets, like when it goes full auto.
Cool.
I thought it was really well
cool.
Done. Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. You have any other thoughts on it before we move on to Themyscira?
I love Gal Gadot.
I was like, the thing is, like, I did like Gal Gadot a lot by the end of this movie, but like, I thought this beginning scene was probably one of the weaker. Like I thought the fight scene was good, but I thought specifically the when she's talking to that girl, like Austin said, like, I thought because like the girl's like. Because the girl's like shaking up or whatever, like after the thing, and she's like, "Oh, can I be like you?" But like the way Gal Gadot was like talking to her, she's like the way that Gal Gadot was addressing all of them, she's like, get up, oh, it's all good, let's go." Like it's like weird, it's like weirdly casual. That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
The performance was like weird, like she wasn't acting like Wonder Woman, she was acting like Gal Gadot, and because she was like, "Oh, let's go, everybody, let's go."
I get what you're saying.
Stuck out to me.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Matt?
I was just like, scene's done, let's go move on to the next one, kind of thing. She was just trying to finish it.
Yeah.
She's just like us.
She's just like us.
Just like us.
Yeah.
So after that, we get to Themyscira, where we find out that one of the mother boxes is contained. And I believe this is the one that was activated due to Superman's death. And of course, because it got activated, it attracts the attention of Steppenwolf, who's our main villain of the movie, who is a servant or dark side of Apocalypse, one of the biggest, baddest villains, not only in DC, but all of comics. And of course, he wants the mother box. And because of that, he comes into conflict with the Amazons. And what I actually think is a very, very well done sequence. I actually really enjoyed this part, but I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and kind of hear what you thought of it.
I like how they turned on RTX for Steppenwolf. He's like way more sharp now. I don't know if I like him, but like they definitely like they finished his render.
Yeah, because in the original cut, he was not looking good.
He was
not looking good.
PSP villain.
Let's see, because he looks like Megatron here, always moving.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Ooh.
Yeah, I want to see the difference.
Yeah, there's a comparison out there. Like it's
very looks all wrinkly.
It is very different. I agree. Steppenwolf I think not only does Steppenwolf look so much better, but I also think he's way more menacing.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Wow,
I didn't
I
realize
didn't
he
even
looked like a
notice.
chump.
You guys didn't notice?
Yeah,
No,
he's
I
completely
just assumed he
different.
always looked like that.
No,
No,
no. I actually remember
So
when
much better.
in our original review we talked about how horrible he looked, the CG.
Oh my God! I'm gonna go
It all went to Henry Cavill's lip.
Oh God, we'll talk
Yeah,
about
for the
that
budget,
later. The
yeah.
Snapchat filter.
Yeah, he looks a lot less like human as well, like his face and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they make him look more like an alien.
More menacing for sure as well because of the armor. It just look prettier to look at because his armor's so intricate. It's like interesting to just look at and see how it behaves.
Really alien.
Yeah.
His face, he can emote like better. He can project his emotions better.
Right. Yes.
And that gives him a little bit more depth, in my opinion.
Yeah, he does have some emotional scenes in this.
Yeah. And I can't wait to talk about that because they really, I really feel like they did
So
Steppenwolf dirty in the original cut. But overall, how'd you guys think about like the attack and all that other stuff? Austin, I feel like you got a lot to say about this one.
So if I recall correctly, this Themyscira scene was one of my favorites in the original cut, and in this version, it got to go even more to the 11 than they did before. So not only, I remember thinking, I think one of the comments I specifically made in the old podcast was that you should not give a PG-13 villain an axe to play with because it's not going to look good and you can't really do anything that you want to do with your axe. But we absolutely got people cut in half in this sequence. And so what was already a pretty epic, well-done scene became something so much more cool as this giant alien that we have no idea what's going on. What is this? Who is that? And but they're all freaking out. These warrior Amazons that we all know from Wonder Woman. They're freaking out. The end is now, and this giant alien thing is cutting through them.
Like one of them gets shot in the boob with a fucking arrow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was one thing I noticed. It was like, I was like, all right, I think they're ready. They got all their bows ready. They got the swords ready. Then the Paradians come out with lasers. It's like, all right, there's a big gap in technology right now. It's a little unfair.
That, you know, you remember the Nazi fight with I think it was Nazis. Was it Nazis in the Wonder Woman movie?
Oh no, it was just Germans because it was World War One. It was World War One, not World War II.
World War One.
Yeah, so it was just the Germans.
So we're used to that gap being there. So it's just still, I really liked it, and it was just as cool. I remember, I think people were complaining the first time around. Remember those two particular buff Amazons who would like hammer the door shut?
Right.
Yes.
Remember that? I remember. I think it's hard to remember both scenes completely, but I did not complain as hard this time. Maybe because it seemed to take more effort to take down the giant doors than it did in the sped up theatrical cut, where he just plowed through these doors that these four giant women sacrificed themselves.
It's a lot more happens in this. Because
I really liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because the one thing that I will point out, like, because like this scene was very good.
Yeah.
And like it's much longer than the original.
Oh
like, there's a lot more struggle being shown.
Yeah.
It's like oh god. Yeah. But I thought it was funny because what's the main Amazon lady's name?
Oh, you mean the queen? The queen?
Hippolyta.
Yeah, Queen Hippolyta.
Hippolyta, like, like it's funny because like they want to show her like feeling bad that all the Amazons are dying, but the way that translates is like she keeps looking back every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and it's like keep moving because like she looks back at the person who gets shot and she starts running towards the door, and she's like because like somebody dies on the way to the big door, and she looks back at them. Then she goes through the door. She looks back again at the thing. Then she keeps walking, and then she looks back again as the ruins like fall into the sea.
Yeah, which is really cool. Which is really cool, by the way. But keep going.
Yeah. But it's like she pauses for like 5 or 6 times before she even gets on the horse.
Yeah, and
it's like
yeah. I agree with that. And the other thing is too, like I felt like she was really delayed in telling them, oh yeah, go get the legions. It was like what? That should have been immediate. As soon as the portal opens, go get them. They're coming.
Rally the troops. Come on.
Rally the troops. But keep going, Ethan. Sorry.
No, yeah, the horse riding was really good.
Yes.
I thought the whole thing. The thing is, what was funny to me is that like I was watching it and I was like, oh, like he's not. For some reason, I thought like I noticed that he wasn't attacking the horses, and I was like, oh, you should attack the horse. And then he immediately did that, and I was like, oh, okay. I thought for some reason they could get the horses to die or something, but no, he immediately throws one.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is actually one of the best like constructed like choreographed scenes in the entire movie.
Yeah.
I think Austin might have said this, but you could really see how hard of a struggle it is for the Amazons and how hard they're trying to keep the mother box out of his hands. Like one of my favorite sequences is when like she gets the box on an arrow, then shoots the arrow, then someone else catches it and goes on to another horse. I was like, damn, they are going
after
for
she shoots it, she dies.
Yeah.
She does.
There's a lot of that. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It was great. And even though Steppenwolf succeeds in getting the box, it was awesome to see the Amazons, like it was like the Rohirrim charge up in there. They were getting ready to get him. It was great. I thought it was really well done. Darren, did you have anything you wanted to say?
It was well done.
Oh, sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think we all can agree this Amazon versus Steppenwolf fight was just really good.
Yeah, it was great. What do you think, Darren?
Honestly, like when I think back, the comparisons is just like the scenes were kind of similar. There's more of a struggle. It was less one-sided. At no point did I think the Amazons were gonna get away with the mother box.
Yeah,
but that would have been like a nicer dynamic to kind of see in the Snyder cut, because like we already expected this that the were going to lose, but it wasn't a surprise to me. It would have been different if that was the facts, but I still like the scene overall. There was more struggle, there was definitely more emotion and more intensity than the first time.
Yeah, for a second there, I honestly thought Queen Hippolyta was gonna die because she was out there all alone. I thought she was, but he boomed out early.
Can you imagine?
That's another thing I have to mention. The boom tomb sounded so weird to me. Like I was expecting it to actually sound like because it's called the boom tomb, like an actual like boom boom. It was more like a pew, and it just went up. Small thing that I noticed. But anything else you guys want to say about the Amazon scene before we move on? Okay.
Probably the worst part about it is that I'm thinking of the Atlantean one. The Atlantean one was so worse compared to it.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk about that.
That's really the worst part about this. It was so good that it made the eyes look bad.
On this one.
We will definitely talk about that because that's I have a lot of thoughts as well. So I think after this is this the part where Diana's like at her job and she hears about the whole thing?
Well,
what happens after? Yeah, go ahead, Ian.
There's the what was it?
Did we go to part 2? We're on the Batjet. Right?
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Part 2.
Yes, we're opening with washing his hands or shaving or whatever.
That Gillette ad.
Yeah, the Gillette ad. Yeah, Bruce Wayne got to keep clean shaven. You know what I'm saying?
That's what Kristen said. She said you can't have the Batman with a beard. It just makes no sense. Got to get rid of it.
I guess that could give you away. They could see the hair.
They'll know.
Yeah, definitely. That was the part that would give it away.
I mean, there's a short bit with Bruce and Alfred, and I think them talking about like what's coming.
Right.
But then I think quickly it moves over to the janitor. Like I think it goes over to like the spaceship people with Cyborg's dad and fucking Howard. Yes, I think so. Yeah.
They're back in Chicago. The bean is gone. It's a dark, dark future.
The bean is gone.
The bean is gone. All is lost.
Yeah,
the janitor. You're right. It's the janitor.
Yeah, because I think we see the janitor because I think Cyborg's dad is like, he's like, oh, early night tonight, Howard, or whatever, and he leaves. And then I think, I was thinking to myself, is the janitor gonna die? And then he gets captured by a parademon.
Poor Howard.
He gets because I thought to myself, someone should make a website that's like, because they have that website like doesthedogdie.com.
They should janitor die.
Janitor die. Because I also actually don't think he dies. He gets captured by a parademon.
Yeah.
I think he fly off with him, which is good because I think in this movie we see the parademons a lot earlier, or like it's a lot more established what they are. Because I think remember in the original, the first time we see the parademon is like with Batman and fucking Gotham. For some reason.
Right. Yeah.
It's like really odd. Yeah, it's like really odd, like what he's fighting. You don't know what's happening. But like here the parademon first shows up because it's trying to find one of the mother boxes that are like in the lab. Because they have the artifact. But after that, I think we go back to Themyscira, and they fire the bow.
Yeah, that was like a 5-minute scene, and like again, like in
the
isolation,
lamentation music was back.
Yeah, it was back. It was firing on all cylinders. And like again, in isolation, I think it's well shot. I think it's visually cool. But it's like that's another thing where like you should cut that. That like doesn't even tell you anything. Just like this whole ceremony around shooting an arrow. Like, I don't know. Did you guys like it?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this my understanding of this Snyder cut that we're watching?
Yes.
That was just all raw, not raw, like raw footage put together kind of haphazardly. Was this literally what Snyder wanted to put in the theater? Like everything shot for shot?
Yeah. Everything is what he wanted. This was his original vision.
So okay.
Yeah.
So he wanted it 4 hours.
Yes. But he knew that he realistically probably wouldn't have gotten it, but that is what he wanted.
He wanted to chop things down, probably.
So everything that is 5 minutes is 5 minutes because he wanted it to be 5 minutes.
Yes.
This cut is what he wanted. Like,
this is what he wanted.
There's only one thing that's missing from this cut that he did not get. And we'll talk about that later. But
wow, I was a lot more forgiving because I thought it was kind of just everything shoved at me. Okay.
No. It definitely is more than I think he would have put, but it's his vision. Yes.
Yeah.
This is his vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like you have to remember when he was originally filming, he knew that he would probably get some sort of guardrails right from the executives, especially after Batman v Superman. But for this one, they literally said, "Whatever you want, like this is your thing." So he had, from what I understand, near like completely creative freedom, like almost unprecedented in terms of a big blockbuster like this. So So
they fire the arrow.
They fire the arrow, which shoots across the ocean, and then it hits a
It does like a Dark Souls cutscene. It looks like the bonfire.
Yeah,
it's like
it lights up. Yeah, it lights the bonfire.
Right.
You're like, whoa.
and then the immediate scene after this is when Diana sees it on the news and goes there, right? I believe, or is there something?
There's a couple
This
things.
is when
she
the queen warns her.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, because it does cut to Diana a little bit after that, but actually, like right after that, it's fucking the we cut back to Gotham. We cut back to Gotham because now like the Gotham scene where like there's parademons in Gotham makes sense.
Yes.
I guess because it's because like the demons are in Gotham and like Commissioner Gordon is like getting the news about it.
Right.
And I found it funny because like somebody shows him a sketch of it. They're like, oh, they're all these crazy people are saying there's demons out there.
Yes.
And like he shows him a sketch and it looks exactly like Batman.
Right.
Yeah, because like it's just this like weird little shape and it looks like Batman. And he's like, oh great, well it's clearly not Batman, dude. Like that's basically what he says. He's like, okay, I'll go talk to Batman. Yeah. And then fucking I think it cuts from there to I think probably Howard getting home and talking to Cyborg.
Yes. So one
because
thing...
we find out that Cyborg has the mother box in the closet.
Right. That's a good call out. So one thing before we get to the whole Howard and Victor Stone, because I think that's really important for us to touch on. I do want to say that like even though J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon probably only got like a minute of screen time, I want to see him. I thought he was really, really good for like the minute that he had. I was like, this dude, he understands it. He gets it. So I do want to throw that out there because I thought he knocked it out of the park. Like I'm a little disappointed that we won't see him in future movies probably, but it looked really, really good for what I saw.
Alas.
Yeah, unfortunate. So this is the first introduction that we actually get to Victor or Cyborg as we better know him as well as his dad. And I'm just listen. I'm gonna put my cards out on the table and say it right now. Cyborg is the heart and soul of this movie. I love Cyborg.
It's fucking shocking. It's shocking how much they cut from Cyborg. It's like obscene.
Yeah.
Like his entire arc, everything was gone in the original. But here, like he's a character. His backstory. He's like his whole thing with his father. Like it's obscene what they did to him.
Yeah, it is so completely different. Like. That's one of the things that I really noticed, in the differences between the cut is that like not only was the original cut like obviously shorter, blah blah blah, but like entire character arcs and backstories were taken out. Yeah. Like I had no idea they had this much stuff for him.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. So I believe in this scene, it's just the father coming in and saying like, hey, like you can hate me, but blah blah, like you do need to get out there or something like that, right? That's
you need to like help people, like things are coming or something like that. He's like, you can't stay in here forever. You gotta like get out there and help people.
You have so much power.
Right?
Is this
the world?
Was this the scene where he left the tape recorder or no?
I believe it is where he left the tape recorder.
He leaves him the recorder. He's like, fine, just here's a message for you. Like you can do whatever you want now, and then like he leaves.
Right.
And he leaves Cyborg with like the crypto box. box.
Yeah, and then he crushes the tape recorder, but that's okay. We'll get to that later.
He crushes it.
But
and then it goes to Diana.
Yeah, I think it was still a good scene. It does a great job of establishing Cyborg as like the character that we've already talked about, where he's the heart and soul of the movie. But and do you guys have any other thoughts on this scene? Okay,
I think good.
Just just a lot of stitching that was missing in the original movie.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. So we cut to Diana, who's I guess she works in a museum or some sort of archaeology thing. And then she hears on the news about the random building being on fire, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" But she gets it.
Like arsonists.
Yeah. So she
isn't it like the Parthenon?
It looked like
I don't know if it's the exact one.
Exactly. That was my thought as well.
Building.
I don't know if it's the
like
exact same.
Greco-Roman type. Ruin.
Yeah, it was in Greece or Rome, right?
Right.
Or Italy.
Something like that. So she goes to investigate, and I guess because I don't know how she just waltzes in. I don't know if she has like a special pass, but
she's cool.
She just walks in.
To be fair, she does work like at the site. It seems like because beforehand she's cleaning one of the things in the museum.
Right. So she kind of walks in, and then she understands what the arrow is supposed to mean. So she grabs some like fire and stuff like that, and then she drops down into like the depths. I guess there was a cave nearby.
Yeah, she drops down while wearing heels.
Yeah, I was like, God damn, those are some strong heels.
Guys, come on.
They don't even break.
What a goddess.
What a goddess indeed.
Heels.
So this is the national treasure scene. That's what I like to call it. She walks down, and then she puts the arrow into a specific part of the wall, which opens a door. And then there's like the whole, I don't want to call it hieroglyphics, but I guess like paintings or art of what happened.
A fresco.
Yes, of the original Dark Side battle when he came to Earth.
She learns about they're coming basically.
Yeah. What did you all think about this scene?
This isn't the big flashback.
No, this is her literally in the cave looking at the.
This is just her like realizing what's happening.
Yeah.
So in the original, how did she find out? Because they definitely were like,
I don't remember.
Tell Diana.
No, I don't think they ever say that she like, oh, I found out. It's more like she heard, oh, the first mother box is taken, but she's already been told like the prophecy or something like that.
Oh, you know what? Go ahead.
They definitely didn't show her going into the cave system.
That was not in the original cut.
Yeah, because that wasn't in the original. I think what they did is they just showed her seeing the fire on TV, and that was it.
Yeah,
that was it.
I think that's right.
Yeah, that was it.
Because I believe the original, it's implied that she already knew about it, but now she's kind of giving the exposition dump. And this one, she's like, oh, something's happening. It's time for me to find out. And then she goes to the cave, and then she actually figures out the entire big picture sort of thing. I thought it was well shot. I thought it was like cool. Again, it's very cool in isolation, but when you have a 4-hour runtime, this is another thing I probably would cut.
It's one of those. I can see why they cut it, but it's weird that they. It's just one of those things that like makes the movie flow better.
Any other thoughts on that before we get to the next thing?
The next thing is funny, actually.
I have something about that as well.
All right. Lead us, Ethan. What's the next thing?
Because the next scene is, I believe, anyway, the bit where we see Aquaman like in his element. It seems like for the first time,
right?
Because he saves a man on a boat who's like, "Oh help! I'm drowning! My hull's breached!"
Oh yes,
he's trying to like.
This is the Aquaman.
He's going down.
This is the Aquaman music video, the Calvin Klein commercial.
Yeah, and basically Aquaman, Aquaman saves him, and he swims back, and he brings him back to the bar, and he's like, "Make sure he respects the storm next time." And he drinks a bunch of whiskey, and then he swims back into the sea. And like the weird thing about this that I want to point out is that because he saves the guy, he puts him back in the fucking bar. He's all wet and soggy, and like Aquaman's looking beautiful, and he's got like no shirt on, and he's like, I'm Aquaman, I'm awesome. And like there's this the bit comes where it's like, because like this music starts playing. I forget what it is. Like what the fucking like there is a king, whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and because he's walking on the pier into the ocean.
Yeah.
And it's like it's slow motion, and the ocean is like ripping and roaring and getting ready for him. And like the thought that popped in my head is, he gonna fuck the ocean? Because like he's gonna fuck this ocean. It's like super sensual, like really long sea, like it's like really slow. And like he basically like he disappears beneath the waves. And so what did you guys take from that like basically money shot? of
I'll tell you, it was definitely a shot for the ladies and the fellas, depending on who you are.
Oh, yeah.
But I gotta say, the one thing that I took away from that was that he drinks that whiskey. He just throws it into the sea.
Yeah, he didn't finish it.
Takes his shirt off, chucks it into the ocean.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'll get it later.
Yeah, and this I'm just like, damn, like, does he just like get a new shirt every single time? Because it seems like he just leaves it wherever he goes. He's like got like a huge closet of shirts and clothes.
But he doesn't take off his pants though when he goes in.
He doesn't.
He wears those jeans in the water.
He does. He makes it work. He makes it work. I just thought it was like, again, it goes back to like, okay, this is good in isolation, but then this is just another one of the music videos kind of thing. And it's well shot.
Yeah, just showing is cool.
Yeah, and again, it shows them as gods, especially when he gets them from the boat. There you have the upshot. Like it's very well shot. I'll give him that. But this is another thing I probably would have cut down a little bit, even if I think it's hilarious in isolation. Because
these sequences would have been good as like something you released beforehand, being like, these are our characters.
Yeah,
this is a little
trailer.
Yeah. It's definitely like I said before, it's a Calvin Klein commercial because like they got the whole like he's walking slowly, takes off his shirt, he's got the whiskey. Like it was it was funny. Yeah. It was definitely funny.
Because after because just to like let us know what's coming. Yeah. Because the scene kind of continues. He swims into the water and he's like returning back to like Atlantis basically to do like fucking something. Because he talks to William Dafoe.
Oh yes, basically. Yes. Velko, I think his name is Velko.
Yeah, Velko.
Yes. Yeah, fucking William the Fish, and he fucking
William the Fish.
And I thought the thing that stood out to, because like basically William is telling him that you need to come back. You need to come back to the kingdom, Aquaman.
Right.
Because like we need you. Like you need to take your mother's thing. And basically this just like it sets up more Aquaman's like his whole like arc about like he doesn't really want to go back to the kingdom because like of like all the things he feels about it. He has a complicated relationship.
Yes.
With his mom, like with her leaving him and all that stuff.
Yep.
And basically because I think William tells him that the mother boxes are in trouble. I'm not sure, but I think he hints at it. Because they also felt it because like it was in like all the boxes have responded to Superman being gone.
Right.
And basically like what I thought was weird about this conversation between him and William is that like this is like a weirdness I have with all the Atlantis stuff. Is like, why can't they talk underwater?
Yeah,
like it's really odd.
So that's a really good thing.
Rule? Can they not talk underwater?
No,
because they can though.
They can. This is something I wanted to point out because it's a great call out. You could really tell that they hadn't figured it out by the time they shot Justice League. Because if you watch Aquaman, they had got no problem talking underwater.
Yeah.
But in here, they had to make the air bubbles
consistent.
Constantly.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, they do it once in this movie because Mara does this thing where she does like dolphin noises to like give them orders.
Yeah.
To like tell them a couple of things. Yeah. But then but when they need to say something that we can hear, they just talk and they make a bubble. Which I thought was odd because, like, why didn't you take a bubble?
Yeah.
You're a fish person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was definitely weird. And like I said before, I'm sure it was one of those things where just, like, they hadn't figured out how exactly to shoot it and make it look realistic. So they're just like, all right, well, we're just going to give up and shoot them in the air kind of thing.
But it's weird because you think it would have used, like, less special effects budget to, like, just have them float there instead of making this weird, like, jutsu where they get rid of the water.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. Also, I do want to point out, I believe at this point we're in part 2, which is the Age of Heroes.
We are.
I believe when she sees the stuff in the wall, that's the end of part 1, from what I remember.
Something like that,
but I agree. Like, this does a good job of setting up Aquaman, who actually gets a much different characterization in this movie compared to the Whedon cut. Because let's be honest, the original Whedon cut, he's just Aqua Bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
obnoxiously.
Yeah, he's just there. Go ahead.
He was better. He was more fleshed out. I don't know if I liked him as much in this movie. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll talk more.
He's definitely not as likable, kind of thing.
He's not as that's what I'm trying to say. He's not as likable.
Yeah.
But we know more about him.
Correct.
Yeah, we do.
Correct.
We do.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting too because for me, every time I hear this stuff about Aquaman, it's like we already know what happens because we saw Aquaman the movie afterwards. So it's just like, oh, okay, so this is what would have happened in the original, and I would have felt much better going into Aquaman. But oh well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I thought it was good. And I didn't think it was too long either. It was very snappy and quick.
It was short. I feel like all of Atlantis kind of got the staff a little bit in this movie.
Yeah,
I think brush over them.
We kind of go through Atlantis quite quickly.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's because they knew Aquaman was coming, so like, all right, let's save Atlantis, like, so they could all see its all its glory.
Maybe, yeah.
I wonder if that's what happened.
Because like Austin was saying, like the Amazons get this huge fight sequence, and Atlantis is just like, oh,
well, that
kind of just shows up and takes it.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll definitely talk about.
You mean our 4 guards weren't enough?
Also, everybody can breathe underwater. Steppenwolf can breathe underwater.
Yeah, the parademons can breathe underwater. They can fly underwater.
Oh, yeah. Why can't?
And not only that, they're the best swimmers ever. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So after this scene, I don't even remember what happens. I think we cut to. Oh, it's Steppenwolf. It's the Skype call with Desaad.
We meet Desaad.
Yeah, the Skype calls. We start the Skype calls. All right, go ahead. What do you guys have to think about this? Have to say.
It's just that Steppenwolf is having a moment to talk, right?
Yeah. To jog everybody's memory, basically, like Steppenwolf. We get a moment with Steppenwolf where he's in the nuclear reactor. He set up the base, and he basically calls home to tell his superior, not his boss, but his superior anyway.
Right.
Desaad, like basically, like I found the mother boxes. They're here, and like he's trying to like say like, and like he's trying to like say like, if I get these mother boxes, can I come home? Because we learn what we learn in this cut of the movie is that like Steppenwolf has been like disgraced, basically.
Yeah.
I didn't quite catch what he did, but basically, like I think he killed somebody he wasn't supposed to.
From what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt or whoever. I from what I understand, he did something in the past where he betrayed Apocalypse.
Basically,
and
like, you're right. Yeah.
But then he realized he was wrong and helped like stop it from happening. But he's still disgraced, kind of thing. I believe that's what happened.
So basically, he's been in exile, like farming these like chitty planets for a very long time. Like we find out he's done like 10,000 or 50,000 planets so far.
That was one of my favorite parts. Was when he was like, "Can I come home?" And like Desaad's like, "Listen, Darkseid said you can't come home until you do 50,000 more worlds."
Yeah,
I was like, this poor guy.
An obscene number of conquests. And he's like, no.
Steppenwolf, you got to capture the Avatar to regain your honor.
Pretty much.
Almost, yeah.
Pretty much.
I'll do it. Like he's planning to go home, but like Darkseid and all of them are basically just like having a laugh at him and making him do this grunt work of finding the mother boxes.
Right, like you can tell they really don't care about him like at all. Right, there's no.
Yeah, they do perk up once they hear the mother boxes might be there because they've been looking for them. But basically, like they're like basically stringing him along and saying like, yeah, whatever, just do the things you need to do, and we'll talk later. And maybe because I think he says like if you find the mother boxes, Darkseid will come there. He's like, Darkseid will come here. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So that we get a lot more backstory for Steppenwolf and like why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah. I go ahead, Austin.
Is this the scene where Steppenwolf goes specifically? He says like the Kryptonian. There's no Kryptonian here. There's nothing guarding this world. Like it's right for the taking. Okay. Because that was also. I don't know if that was as touched upon as the theatrical.
No,
it was not.
So no. I love this version of Steppenwolf because the original one, it was so vague. He kept on talking about mother, and it was like,
he's very vague.
It was like, what is happening? Like, I don't understand this character. But this one, they clearly flesh out his backstory and like what his motivations are, why he's doing it. I don't really think it's particularly interesting, but at least they do flesh it out and make it something that's even a little bit relatable in some ways. I felt bad.
He's better. They definitely fixed it.
I felt bad when Desaad just said 50,000 more rolls, buddy. I was like, God damn, this dude down bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's like, oh, fuck.
I felt like the CG for the Skype call, like the molten lava, was like sometimes it looked a little too smooth. That was like one of the only things in this movie where I was like, all right, guys, maybe another render there. But otherwise, one thing I'll say about the Skype calls is I felt like they happened like too much at some point. Like they do it every time, I believe, when they get a mother box, and like there comes a point where the Skype calls are like, I got the second box. Yes, great. Now go get the other one. Okay, I will.
Yeah, they kind of use that a lot.
So that's another thing I would cut, but I think the first time they do it, it's great.
It makes sense.
It definitely makes sense.
It makes sense for him to call back to his superiors and say that like these things are here that we've been looking for a long time. They're here.
Yeah, it sets up his backstory. It sets up Apocalypse and like the people there as like something that's a greater threat sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think it all does it very, very well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then after this, we move on to I think what we've been waiting. We move into the big mythos.
It's
big
story time.
Oh, the story time. The exposition dump.
Basically, yeah, Wonder Woman and Batman meet up, and I always like their dynamic. And basically, she's telling him about like what these things are and like what actually happened in the beginning.
Right.
And we learn about the 3 races beating them back.
That was one of my favorite parts, was where she's like, "There's these mother boxes," and then it cuts to Batman. Mother boxes. It was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
His reaction was so funny. It was like, "Mother boxes."
Mother boxes. Yeah.
What is she proposing? Sorry, keep going.
What is she proposing?
Keep
But
going.
yeah, we see Darkseid like proper. He's coming down on his ships,
Right,
and he's like, "I'm gonna destroy this world with my fucking crypto Ethereum cubes. I'm gonna fucking mine the world." And basically, she says that like Amazon, Atlanteans, like, and we even see like a Green Lantern alien, even though he dies.
Yeah. Oh, he got killed real quick.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
But he got more scenes in this version than the last.
Well,
and that one he's like a cameo.
Well, at least in the original one, he could actually make constructs. Like he made a hammer, and this one he just shot beams. It was like, all right, guys, I know.
Oh shit, really? I thought I remembered more.
Yeah, I know the budget was like probably a little tough here, but you could have made him do more than just a beam.
I love this scene.
It was interesting because like Darkseid kills him, and for a second it looks like he's gonna get the ring.
Yeah, he looked like he was gonna grab it. Yeah.
Oh no! And then the ring flies away.
The ring juked him.
Yeah,
the ring flies away.
It was definitely much more interesting. So from what I understand, I'm not sure if it was like they all planned and like decided they form an alliance, or like they all just collectively like said, yes, we will stop them. We're all gonna show up here at this exact time to stop them. I don't know if that was
I'm gonna assume it's them planning, because I'm gonna assume
it's like they formed like some sort of alliance.
Right, but one thing I do want to point out here too is that not only do we see the Green Lantern, but we also see some of the old gods. So we see Zeus, we see Ares, who returns from the original Wonder Woman, and I believe it's Artemis, the person who does the arrows. I'm not familiar with my Greek gods, but I believe that is Artemis. Or Athena, yeah. It's one of the.
Because Athena apparently is also.
Yeah,
there's a lot of doubling up apparently.
I'm not 100% on that, but I know it's another Greek god.
Yeah, basically they beat the shit out of Darkseid.
Yeah, and we see the Atlantean king, King Atlan, I think. I think that's his name.
Before they left for the sea, as they said. Yeah.
Right.
They show up on boats like
and there's we see also the Amazons. We see Queen Hippolyta, and we also see the person who died in the first movie. I forget her name. I'm so sorry. The person that Robin Wright plays. We see her. And then we get random. I'm not sure if we were supposed to know who the humans were. They seem kind of like randos to me.
They were Mongols. They were like
there was a whole bunch.
No, I mean as in if they were pre characters that we knew about, or if they were just.
Oh, probably not.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think there were.
Mankind doesn't have anybody cool. Yeah. It's just a bunch of dudes that showed up.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Right.
Do their best.
So what did you all think about this scene? Austin, I know you said this is one of your favorites.
I want to hear what Austin.
Go ahead, Austin.
So even in the theatrical cut, this was so cool.
Yeah, this is always a favorite.
Yeah.
I love the idea of because it works, right? This is a united Earth, getting help from everywhere. You have lowly man coming together, and various cultures within humankind certainly coming together. Then you got Atlanteans, you have Amazons. The gods that these Amazons worship, they come down too. They come down from Olympus.
Right.
They want to defend their turf. And then you have aliens. You got a fucking Green Lantern showing up.
Mm-hmm.
So I want good Green Lantern presence in the DCEU. I'm hoping that we get that someday.
Maybe one day.
It was really cool to see it, and it really painted a truly epic picture, and it's a good comparison for what the world is like right now. The Atlanteans are below the ocean. The Amazons are kind of reclusive in their island because they don't trust men anymore. Mankind is pretty divided right now. Yeah. And you have, who else was there? Of course, the gods aren't even worshipped anymore, so they're probably a fraction of their former selves.
Right.
Well, you have the new gods now, but they have not been touched.
Right.
Gotcha. So it not only is it an epic scene that was just so cool. It also really illustrates the differences between then and now.
What I'm wondering is the differences between this and the theatrical cut, because it seems like I feel like there were differences because I don't remember Darkseid. I don't remember Darkseid like as much in the original.
It wasn't from what I remember. It was not Darkseid. It was Steppenwolf.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Darkseid was not present
because what's funny is we see Darkseid and like he fucking dies.
Yeah, he gets taken down so easily. Like,
and he's fucking dead.
Now,
like,
granted, I'm sure facing 3 gods at the same time is difficult, but I was still kind of shocked that he went down so quick.
They like stabbed the shit out of him, and he's like, "Oh fuck."
Yo, Ares went for the giant swing. He came down from the heavens with that stuff, bro.
So
I'm sorry. One more thought, and then I'll stop. The coolest thing about DC, and I guess this is true for probably comics in general, but I feel like this scene really illustrates it for DC. Just the mismatch that you have going on here. You've got like ancient Greek plus their gods plus Atlantis plus alien space cop plus a whole bunch of historical cultures coming together. I don't know. Maybe it's the magic of comics or it's DC itself, but I love it. Love it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Matt.
So to answer a question before, so Steppenwolf was in the theatrical cut, and that's why he was banished within the theatrical cut, because his invasion failed.
Yeah.
In the Snyder cut, we were right. He tried to betray Apocalypse and all that. So it's his motives for being banished are different in which cut you are looking at.
Yes, and in this exposition scene, we should also add, we find out that the reason why Darkseid came to this planet was very specific. It wasn't just because he wanted to conquer it. It's because apparently, I don't know if it's like in the Earth itself. They never quite fully explain it, but basically, Earth holds the key to the anti-life equation, which is what Darkseid always wants. Which is what Darkseid has been looking. It's the giant MacGuffin that he always wants.
Anti-life
because the anti-life equation grants him authority over all life, like basically mind control, effectively, from what I understand. Now, I know that a lot of us love the scene. Darren, or did you have anything you wanted to say about it? Because it's a big scene, brother.
Yeah, there's a lot going on over there. Like, I think of it like that end scene in like Infinity War where everybody comes together.
Yeah.
It's a good way to put it. But like sticking it in like the middle of like this movie and just having like a backstory to it, I think it was interesting. Also, it's just like one thing that I think about is like you always talk about the gods coming together and how like are portrayed as gods, but more so when I think back, it's like they're all Greek gods. What if there was like I don't know.
What is it?
Like Shiva.
It just still more dynamic in there.
Yeah.
Would have been great. A kid can dream.
The thing, I think they're bounded by the DC setting itself,
right?
Because I was to go off what Darren is saying, I see why Austin likes this scene, but for me, like I actually don't like it as much because I feel like it kind of exposes for me the world building of DC that I don't like that much, because I see because you like because you say that it's like oh look at all these different people coming together, but to me I just see like several warrior tribes. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't seem that
totally valid.
They don't seem that unified.
They all seem like Lord of the Ring type army people, which is fair because it's like in the olden days.
Yeah. I was actually about to say that.
But it doesn't quite work for me because it just feels like it's a lot of glittery special effects nights. That's just me.
Yeah,
I can see that completely.
It's great that you pointed that out because that's actually the first thing that I thought of when I saw the scene. It reminded me of that first prologue that you see in the Fellowship of the Ring, where they talk about the War of the Last Alliance and how they go up against Mordor, and that's how they first destroy Sauron or whatever. That's what it reminded me.
I was afraid you were gonna say the entire third Hobbit movie.
Oh no!
Oh,
No!
God.
No!
The lighting is kind of similar, and the CG is kind of samey, and I get it. It's valid, totally valid.
Right. So I do like this scene. I do think that I would have loved like other cameos, but that's just the fanboy in me. Like would have been cool to see Shazam or something like that in there.
Yeah, the wizard shows up.
Yeah, the wizard.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was young cool to see the gods like there, and it was I from what I understand, because Ares obviously thrives off of war. I'm sure seing all that war like pumped him up, and that's probably why he had such a big swing.
Boner.
Yeah,
right.
he was just so happy.
Amped up.
And I do think it was cool just to see the Amazons in their full glory once again. But it was so weird to me that also like these are spacefaring civilizations, and then you see like the wizards get shot by an arrow and they die. It was like, guys, like you guys didn't think like
squishy, man. They're squishy. They
yeah,
can't tank
it was like, come on, guys, like bows and arrows. You guys are a spacefaring civilization. Like it's one thing to get hit by a lightning bolt.
They got space before they got like guns. You don't know.
Magic.
Yeah, and this is also when they established too that apparently when all the 3 mother boxes come together, it terraforms the Earth into a virtual apocalypse, something like that.
Yeah, that's what they want to do. They want to do is it like the resonance, the unity,
the Unity.
Like
that's
that.
what it's called. The
Unity.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we find out that after we defeat them and send them back. That's when all the Unity, because I guess they just forgot the mother boxes. They were just, all right, we gotta go. Peace. Wait, shouldn't we get the mother boxes? No, we gotta get out.
And they all run away.
Yeah.
Let's run.
Did they only have one set of mother boxes? Is that it?
Yes, that's
they
the
only had.
ones.
That was the only ones.
Special.
They're not like things that they make. They're like special objects somehow.
Yeah.
No, they are essentially the Infinity Stones.
At least
for this movie.
It's the MacGuffins. For lack of a better term.
The MacGuffins.
Yeah. Jake, were you going to say something about this scene before we get to what happens after?
Oh yeah, I mean this was probably in the end, but I always thought it was funny how they're like, and each group like took one of the mother boxes.
Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about this. Keep going.
Oh yeah,
keep going.
Like, the Atlanteans Squid, and then the men were just like, I guess just put it.
They
in
just
some
bury it.
It wasn't even that deep of a hole either.
It's not even deep. No, it's like as far as you bury a body. It's like
Yeah. It's the best way we know how.
Body.
Good enough.
All the other races, you're right, Jake. They all like lock it away safely, but man, it's just like, shit,
like,
where do we put it?
Whatever.
It's like,
Just bury it.
it's like,
Okay.
all right, where are we gonna put it? All right, let's go to the forest, and we'll dig a
really
hole.
cool tree.
Yeah.
Right,
And
I
then
forgot about
is this the scene too where we find out that the Nazis got it, or is that after?
I
No,
think it's
later on.
after.
That's later on.
Okay,
what
that's later
happens
on.
after this?
That's
What happens
later
after
on.
this is the is Flash.
Flash.
Basically.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
Part 3.
so
We see him go to the pet store.
yeah. So I was gonna say I think
And-
we can all agree that this was one of the stronger scenes in the movie, and I think it did a lot of things like we've already mentioned, established things. It also was cool action scene, all that other stuff. But let's get to Barry's music video. So go ahead, Ethan, if you want to lead off.
Well, basically, this scene is pretty like, it's pretty like focused. Yeah, it's essentially like we want to see Barry like doing cool stuff.
Yep.
And
Yep.
basically, he goes to the pet store and he's interviewing for the job there, but like, he's catching side glances from this one girl who just like just staring at him.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
and basically what happens is like while he's during the interview, like a trucker who's like eating a burger or something, and he can't reach the burger.
A
as it
trucker in the
falls.
middle of a metropolitan area, by the way, an
In the
18-wheeler.
middle of like a big area. He's like, I better get my burger, and he's trying to reach for it.
And he's just trying to work his job. Like, oh, he's got to eat his burger and fries. He's
Go
speeding
home to my wife.
Yeah. This a very responsible trucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He runs the red light, and the girl that was giving Barry side glances
Yeah.
hits the car basically, and she goes flying.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no! It's like a horrible accident. It's a horrible accident, but Barry sees it, and he activates his powers, and he just fucking zips over there, and he grabs her, puts her down. He gets a hot dog as well for the dogs, and he basically fixes the whole thing.
It was. I have a lot of thoughts.
What do you think?
I have a lot of
Adam?
thoughts on this
What?
scene. It was like really weird. So the girl is Iris West, who in the comics is traditionally Barry's love interest. So
Okay,
that's who that
Yeah.
was. It's not some random girl that we're never gonna see. Well,
Okay,
probably
because
not,
she's
but you get what I'm
staring
saying.
at him.
Yeah. And well, first off, it's just like there's no way that an 18-wheeler would ever be in a city. Like it doesn't work
That's
that
true,
way.
actually.
But
Just,
whatever.
just like going through an intersection. Like
yeah,
that,
like
it's
but
kinda
like
weird.
whatever. I'll also suspend my disbelief. I just thought it was so weird that like when Barry goes to save her, like he like starts like touching her hair, and like I was like, all right, this is a little weird for me right now.
No, but it becomes like a joke because actually what he's looking at is the hot dog.
Yeah, I thought the hot dog thing was a little funny.
They could have set it up better, but like I think the joke is mostly that like he moves her hair up a bit and he looks at her, but then he immediately looks at the hot dog
Yeah.
and he thinks that.
I thought he was gonna just be like looking at, moving her hair, taking a look, grabbing a hot dog, just leave.
I thought what he was gonna do is he was gonna take the hot dog and like open her mouth and put the hot dog in. And he's like, here you go, have a snack.
I also thought it was really funny too that right before the crash, someone decided they had to animate the seed from the bun of the burger, animate it coming down. I was like, you know what? Like, props to you for
some animator did that for like a week.
Yeah. Like, I don't think that was necessary, but what I can tell you, I've never seen that in a movie before. Never.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, right, it shows that, he gets the job, and he also feeds the hot dog to the dogs and whatnot. I don't
even think. Does he get the job? I guess he does.
Does he get the job?
It's implied.
Yes, he
I'm
does.
pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
I thought he just like left.
And also,
something got messed up.
I also thought, I don't know if like I missed something, but like Iris was driving like a really vintage car.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like a low rider.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like part of her character, but it was something I noticed. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the car in the most violent explosion ever. Like,
because you know what it is? Because you know what it is? Because she had to fly out of the car, so the car couldn't have a top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why it's a low rider, so she could go flying and
right,
save her.
Right. When the truck hits it though, it like tumbles 4 times and like not even just like it stops. It like violently explodes after.
Yeah.
There's no way you're getting the car back.
And did I misstep? Did she have a dog?
No.
Okay.
Her?
No.
It was in the pet store.
She was walking at the dog.
Yeah.
And we just forgot about that.
No, yeah, she does not have a dog from what I remember.
No.
But
go ahead, Matt.
going back to the beginning of the scene, I like the juxtaposition between Barry speaking like super fast and like being jittery, and like the manager of the pet store just like being like, all right, like you can like slow down. And I kind of like that, how he's incorporating like their power into like their mannerisms and whatnot.
Right.
Like to add to that, Lipnick, I like the joke where it's like, because he shows up late to the interview.
Right.
And he's the Flash.
Yeah.
He showed up late somehow. All right, Barry.
I generally like that they had Ezreal more in this movie.
Yep.
I generally like them as an actor.
Yeah. There's a lot more of him.
The character was just so much more likable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
yeah.
I think what's it called? The way Ezra Miller plays the character, it feels very authentic. That's like the word that comes to my mind when I think of what he does with it. And I know that there are people who complain because it's a lot more like Wally West from the Justice League cartoon than say Barry Allen in the comics.
Sure.
Which I think is like fair, I suppose, but I think it's still a very, very likable character. And even though I've had weird feelings about this scene, I actually really like that this is how we get introduced to some of his character and personality quirks in a way. And it also sets up his arc a little bit, which we'll get into a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was much better than the intro we had in the theatrical version, which was immediately with his dad in jail.
Yep.
Yeah.
So unless we have any other thoughts, because I believe right after is when we go into the whole him talking to his dad, right?
Well,
I'll just.
Okay.
Go ahead. Mine is a tangential joke, so please continue.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I can continue us down, but I also have a small joke because after this we see the after this there's a scene where the demons, the parademons, they're capturing Atlanteans.
Oh yes. Yes.
I found it so like the indignity of it all because we see like the parademons are dragging Atlanteans out of the sea.
Yeah.
Pulling them behind them. It's like really? Because basically like we find that like they've beaten the crap. They've been like raiding the Atlantis and capturing them because like fucking William Dafoe earlier, they're kidnapping people looking for the mother box.
Right.
And basically we find out that Steppenwolf comes and this Atlantean's like, I'm not gonna tell you anything. You can kill me. And like fucking Steppenwolf takes out his like weird like fucking like mind reader machine.
Yeah. Spider looking thing. Yeah.
And basically Steppenwolf finds out where it is in Atlantis because he reads the guy's mind and he's like, no. And then that's basically the end of that scene.
Right.
But after that we move on to fucking Diana and Bruce again.
Oh yes. Oh wait, this is when they talk in Lois's apartment, right?
I have it written.
Why would they be in Lois's?
Oh wait, no.
No.
I'm thinking something else. Yes.
Because basically what happens is that Diana and Bruce are talking about Cyborg. Basically.
Oh, I'm thinking of Diana because the actress who plays Superman's mom is named Diane, so that's the one I thought.
No,
I got confused.
Because I think basically this what happens is that Cyborg like reaches out to them because I think they're looking for him maybe.
Yes.
Or something like that.
No, because
and he reaches out to them and like a meeting gets set up I think between Diana and fucking
Yeah.
and fucking Cyborg.
Yeah, so basically what happens is they decide to split up, right? Because Batman is going to go for Barry, go talk to Barry, recruit him, right?
Yes.
And Diana's going to go after Cyborg and recruit him.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is the scene, too, where Diana is talking to Alfred about the tea thing. I thought that was a really funny gag where she's like, you want some tea? And then he's like, no, I won't. And then like Diana's making the tea, and then like Alfred is constantly giving her pointers on how to make the tea. He's like, you sure you don't want some?
She was a good part of this movie. Like she's like the heart of the team because she's actually social with most of them.
Right.
But she talks to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty because basically after this we learn a lot about Cyborg himself. Yeah. And like what happened to him and like. Because basically what happens is I don't know if he explains to Diane what happened to him, but basically we learn his backstory about like because we cut to the football.
Before we get there, I just want to say that there is one joke that Snyder wrote that I actually really liked. It was the part where Diane's like, so like Bruce, what did Aquaman say? He was like, oh well, you know he might join. He was like, so he said no. He's like, he said no.
He said no.
I thought that was like that Whedon wrote, but it was actually Snyder. I was like, I actually laughed.
It was a natural joke.
Yeah,
like it makes sense. Yeah.
Good joke.
The way they interact with each other.
Yeah. Good joke. I thought it was a little weird with the whole thing where they grab the most at the same time. It's like, oh, sorry. I was like, whatever.
That was a little weird. Yeah, I know that was a little weird. They're like, oh, sorry. Oh, it's fine. I mean, like I ship it, sure, but it's kind of weird.
We'll talk about some of that though, because there is some, I won't say controversy, but like some stuff that Zach had planned because apparently what Zach said is that he had a 5-film arc and Justice League was the third one. Obviously, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman being number 1 and number 2. But we'll talk about that stuff later. So continue.
2 more movies.
Yeah. So keep on going. What you were saying. So we cut to when Diana meets or Wonder Woman meets Cyborg, right?
Diana, she meets Cyborg. I'm pretty sure this is where she meets him like. She meets him like in that like sidewalk in some residential area.
Right.
He finds her, right?
Yes. Something like he tells her to go there, basically.
Because he's like, "Why are you looking for me?" Because he's like connected to everything.
Because he can sense them.
Basically.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, he tells her to meet. He goes to this like dark street where like he's cut all the lights.
Right.
And and she's trying to like tell him like you could help us. You can come with us, which is actually quite nice because like again like I like how Diane is like trying to like reach out to the other members of the team.
Yep.
Because she's
instead of just recruiting them.
Yeah, like she's trying to because she's trying to
putting a team together.
Trying to explain to Cyborg that she also lost somebody and she cut herself off from the world for a while.
Right.
And like I thought like, oh, that's a good point because Cyborg's in a place right now where like because he lost his mom, as we find out, he doesn't want to like interact with anybody and he doesn't want to help like with the oncoming attack.
Yep.
But basically, Diane explains like you can't do that. You have to like you need people more than ever, sort of thing right now.
Yep. It shows we learn growth for the character as well, right? Because she only came out because Doomsday attacked, and it was just like looking back on it, I'm sure she's like, probably should have like maybe done some stuff before that. You know, there was the Holocaust, there was a whole there was World War II.
It was pretty bad.
You know, there was a couple of things that I probably should have intervened in instead of just not doing anything. But anyway,
I could have helped. I was there.
Yeah.
I was busy.
But anyway,
and basically, I think I don't know if Cyborg is like explaining it to her or he goes back home and he sees the picture of his mom and stuff.
Right.
And we get the flashback of him playing. Yes. It's like a climax for like another movie.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because like it's him playing the
football.
It's him playing football. And he's about to do the big touchdown.
Oh yeah.
It's intercut with like his mom talking about him and like he's got a good heart. Because like they're talking about like how he hacked the school system to help one of their friends to give her better grades because somebody in her family had passed.
Right.
And so she was like she couldn't focus.
And props to the mom for standing up not only for her son but for the kid when she was like, it's not about what he did. Like, what did you actually do for the kid for her? Like, what did you like? Don't blame her. Yeah. Exactly.
And then he's like, the guy's like, Mrs. Stone. She's like, Dr. Stone.
Yes. Very good. Very good.
Know your place.
And basically, like, we get this huge climactic scene where, like, he does this big fucking move. Everybody's cheering, and like the mom's cheering, the whole team's cheering. But he looks at the stand, and his dad isn't there. His dad is once again at work, not there, and it takes the wind out of Cyborg's sails.
Yes.
And so basically, what happens is they drive back, and they're having an argument, basically a little argument about like he wasn't there. It's like, oh, he's busy. He wants to be there. And he's like, if he wanted to be there, he would be there. Right. Like Cyborg starts crying.
No, you can tell like how much it hurts him that he's not there. And also, I just want to say, man, shout out to the actor. I'm sorry, Ray Fisher, who's like he was acting his ass off in this, and it's just a flashback, but he was acting his ass off, man. But sorry, keep going.
It was because it was a good mix of like because like Victor's like a big guy, but at the same time Victor's also a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he's a high school. Like he's like I'm assuming he's like a high school.
High school or
senior,
college, something like that.
Probably something like that.
Yeah.
And yet he wants his dad to be there, and like he just wasn't there. He starts to cry, and like the mom's like, no, they'll be fine. Like we'll talk to him. And basically, like a car hits them.
Yeah.
And but Flash isn't there to save them, with a hot dog. But
Superman wasn't there either.
There were no hot dogs.
We cut to the fucking hospital, and like, we're sorry we couldn't save your wife is dead. Like, you just fucking tell him your wife's gone, and your son like might be on the way out. And he's like, and the dad Howard is like, no, not if I can help it.
Right.
I won't let you die. And basically, we find out that this is why he turned him into Cyborg
to save his life.
To save him from that. Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say powerful scene, but keep going.
Yeah, no, like he does that, and then he fucking because I think this is all brought on because he's listening to the record that he left him, and he basically Howard is explaining to Cyborg that like now that you're Cyborg, like no firewall can stop you. You can do all this stuff. Like you need to like be out there. Like I thought it was interesting because like he's telling him like you have all these abilities. Like you could see like our entire world runs on the internet and like the financial systems, the security systems, all this stuff, and like the great task for you, Cyborg, will be not fucking up anything.
I was so confused by that. Because the dad is like, the test will not be if you will change things, but it's like whether you'll have the restraint to not to. And like in my head, it was almost like, maybe this is just I misinterpreted the words, but it almost sounded like, yes, you can end poverty right now, but you have to ask yourself, is that the right thing?
Yeah, it's a slightly neoliberal stance. Yes,
yeah,
but,
I was like, keep going.
Basically, he's telling him that like with great power comes great responsibility. Cyborg, like don't because basically like don't succumb to like just fucking up anything for no reason.
Well, yeah, he mentions that he can like launch all the nukes and stuff like that.
Yes,
like,
he shows all the nukes that he can launch it in like a hands wave because we get this like crazy CGI sequence where he's like in the fucking like the fucking Netscape.
Yeah,
and he's on
the metaverse.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But what I liked about this, and I thought that this adds so much character for a Cyborg, and it's shocking to me that this was not in the original movie.
Yeah.
He basically like after all this, he tells him like, look at all these powers, all these things you can do. Basically, like he starts like looking through like cameras and stuff, and he's like, all right, well, whatever, I'll just like go through people's social medias.
I'll start stalking people. It's fine. Keep going.
Yeah, basically he locks on to this one woman who's like a waitress.
Linda Reed.
Yep.
Yeah, and basically he sees that like she's struggling and she's doing all this stuff, like she can't make ends meet. She's gonna get evicted. She's got 2 kids. She's got no money, and like this scene got me because like it like basically culminates in like she's at the ATM. It's raining.
Yep.
Like they have to find a place to stay. She has like $10 on her ATM, and she's got nothing. And Cyborg's just like, you know what? And he fucking like he does like a little whoosh of his hand, and there's like $100,000 in her bank account just immediately.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, and she's like so happy and celebrating, and like Cyborg's just like watching from like the sidewalk, and then he just like walks away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what a guy.
What a guy. What a sequence.
It was powerful.
What a
because,
backstory.
Yeah. She was stuck in this like very real situation where you think like, God, if only this person just had some money. And Cyborg was like, okay, here you go.
This is what I can do.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what.
But it's weird because like it kind of goes against what his dad told him to do.
Yes.
Sure.
Oh, you know what I mean?
It's pretty micro, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird because that comes like right after that scene. It's like, oh, he just told you not to do anything, and you just like gave her $100,000.
Also, we see that he's like after, and then his dad's like, "Now I told you that as a scientist. Now I'll tell you as a father," and he just crushes that thing.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that.
He disagrees with his dad on a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
That could be what it's saying. That he kind of disagrees a little bit, and then he wants to change things a little bit.
And I'm
you
sure
can take it at that.
I'm sure that like I'm pretty sure that he outright says it. Like if you were there, Mom wouldn't have died. Like him and his dad are definitely not on good terms.
Yeah, we learned like why they're on such bad terms.
Yeah. One other thing too that I definitely want to point out is when he bonds with the mother box and gets his cyborg body. That was like a genuine like body horror scene. Like he's like outright screaming, and the way that it forms around his body. I was like, this is like if you showed us to the wrong person, it's genuinely frightening. But I especially for since we've all seen the original cut, how'd you all feel about this backstory and the way it was given that was missing from the original cut that's now given to Cyborg? I'd love to.
It adds so much to the character.
It's what needed.
What he was before was just moody and grumpy.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't know why he was so upset all the time.
Yes. For sure. Completely agree.
Darren, what do you think, man?
The 4 hours very wisely, and adding in like that, you know how I said like there was not a lot of solo movies for the characters. Just that, like transition right there, just giving a little bit of backstory, but they really used every single second of that time just to hammer down on Cyborg and really create the character. That development there was very crucial to this movie being successful, as opposed to last time just, hey, here's Cyborg.
Yeah.
We know him as a Teen Titan.
Yeah, he says booyah at one point. Cool.
He does.
I wish he said booyah, but he never says it.
Ray Fisher said that he didn't want to say it. Because
I'm sure he didn't feel like doing it. Yeah.
I believe what he said was basically a lot of black characters are known for just simply having a catchphrase.
I know. I wanted it. All right.
I understand. I understand.
He doesn't say it. No.
I thought he said it.
I don't think he
did.
In
the original cut, he does, not in this one.
Oh, he does.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
In this cut, I don't remember him.
He does not say it from what I remember, because that was from the reshoots.
Okay.
One thing I also want to point out too. So when Justice League came out, Black Panther had not come out. So technically, Cyborg's like the first, black African American, whatever you call it, like superhero that we're seeing on screen in the modern era. And if they led with this instead of what they got in the original cut, like it would have been so much better. Like they really had a moment to make like a statement and like do justice to the character.
Yeah, like he's a real character in this. Yeah, he's like the heart of the movie, like you said.
He really is, and it also sets up his arc too, right? Because his whole arc is about like realizing, one, reconciling with his father. One is also coming to terms with his powers, and like Ethan said, with great power comes great responsibility, and just coming onto his own. And you also see that there's like a good deal of like just personal trauma and like what's the word I'm looking for, like inner conflict with Cyborg, right? Which we'll get to the end when he has like his little vision once he goes into the mother box. But I really love this entire sequence. I love Cyborg in this movie. I'm so happy that we finally got to see what was actually promised for him. I'm sure Ray Fisher, who fought very, very hard to have the original cut kind of shown, I could understand why
because he's like, I did all this shit.
Yeah. I'm sure he took great pride in the role too.
I have another thought. I have watching this Snyder cut is actually the second portrayal of Cyborg that I've had to contend with, because I watched Doom Patrol on HBO Max, which is a completely different actor playing Cyborg in it.
Right.
And I have to say that I mean,
does it compare? How does it do?
I think the emotional. I think Ray Fisher's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ray, I think Ray knocks the other guy out of the park acting wise. For sure. I think if I don't know if we're gonna have a multiverse where several cyborgs are gonna be running around, but if they want to have a flagship cyborg, I think it should be this guy.
Yes.
I did. So I was kind of familiar with the general cyborg story through Doom Patrol.
Right.
So maybe I lost a little bit of the emotional impact of everything happening in front of me, but I mean, Zach really delivered it super well either way, and it's a shame that they didn't include it the first time around.
It's
such an important character.
True shame.
You have, I mean, it's the inverse of Marvel, right? You need to do you're choosing to do Justice League first, so you need to put in the work to have us be introduced to these people, and they didn't.
Yeah. And one thing I also want to say too is I was one of those guys who I didn't really like Cyborg being a founding member of the Justice League. I always preferred him as a Teen Titan, probably because I watched the cartoons growing up. But this, like, I was always one of the guys like, hey, let's take out Cyborg. Maybe we should get Green Lantern in there, or Martian Manhunter. Kind of other like better, more we'll talk about that. More established classic characters. But this movie more than anything really sold me on how amazing of a character Cyborg can be and like what he actually brings to the team. So I have to once again just give a hats off to Ray Fisher and everyone who made him the heart and soul of this movie. And we'll talk more about how he evolves in that. So it was great. Great work there. After this is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think they also just them going into this, because they kind of imply his powers, like he can hack, he's got like these jetpacks and a boomstick, right? But they really kind of make you realize, because Dad really spells it out. He's like you control this world, man.
Yeah,
you are powerful.
Truly connected.
I think
it's an angle of it that I kind of like, because he's almost like this transcendent being.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
He is a god. He is a god.
Rather than just being like, I'm a hacker. Like,
Yeah.
You know, I'm something beyond human.
He's not just digital. He's like beyond human. Yeah.
I also thought it was a little funny too. They added a little bit of humanity, right, where he's kind of experimenting with his powers. He's on the roof and like trying to control the jets and whatnot, kind of thing. I thought that was a nice touch too. That like even though he's obviously a god.
I did like his mask when he put it on. He never puts it on ever again.
His space mask or whatever.
I do like the one eye look.
Yeah,
he has it covered, but he never does it. And I'm like, I get it. You don't want to cover up his face all the time. Like, I get it.
I get it. Do you guys, I'm not sure if like his design is that much different compared to the original cut.
Like the CG. I don't know.
I don't know, but it certainly looks better to me, because I remember when I first watched it, I was like, I don't really know.
They might have tweaked it,
if I really like this, but it seemed fine to me this time. He still looks like a literal graphics card, but it's okay.
The thing is, like, Cyborg's classic design is always like kind of hard to do.
Yes,
I feel like in real life.
Yes.
Like, it looks good in Teen Titans because he's a cartoon, but like in this, it's always weird to have like a dude's face.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah. Definitely difficult. So I believe after this is when we switch to when Bruce is trying to recruit Barry.
The jail scene. We're in jail.
So before we even get to Bruce, right? Barry goes to visit his dad in jail, and this is another great scene. I'd love to hear all of you what you guys think about this one.
It was good. Another good down to earth scene.
Yeah.
Good character development.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked by like what a good dad Barry's dad is again.
Yeah, dad of the year over here.
Because like you expect him to be a piece of shit, right? He's like, you're never gonna amount to anything, Barry. Fuck you. I'm in here because of you, like something like that.
Right.
But instead, he's like, Barry, stop visiting me. All right, get a job.
I want you to leave me now. Forget about
leave me behind. Yeah.
Yeah, because basically his dad's telling him like, you can't keep doing all this like random crap trying to get me out. Just focus on you.
Mm-hmm.
And Barry's like, no, I can get you out. I can get you out because you didn't do it. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And all this stuff. And basically, he goes back to his little train HQ, and he meets Batman.
Right.
And Batman's like, hey.
I love the scene because it could have been so easy to like do the traditional expo dump via dialogues, like, don't you remember that one time kind of thing. But in this one, it felt like it was actually a really, really good character moment for both of them, right? Where the dad is really just trying, you could tell how much he cares about his son. Is just like, leave me behind. Like, you are capable of so much, and that actually sets up something else later in the movie, right? About Barry's arc and how he comes onto his own about who he
Barry has an arc in this movie.
Yeah, what he's capable. Like, who would have thought? Like, there's characters that you could actually work with. And I love this scene. I like heartbroken when like the dad was like, give me your hand. I was like, oh God, guys, you're pulling on the heartstrings right now.
See, I didn't know this before I listened to the previous podcast, but I apparently did not like the dad scene the first go around. While you guys were mostly positive about it.
SMH.
It was definitely better this time around because we were set up with the job stuff immediately. But I don't know. There was a mixture of confusion why his dad was telling him the things that he's telling him, plus the hand thing. It kind of took me out of it. That's just I don't know. Something about it just made it.
Okay,
maybe it was too tropey. Maybe I don't know. It's probably unfair, but because how else are you gonna do that kind of stuff, right? How else are you gonna connect with someone across the plexiglass?
Right.
But it took me out.
I see. Because what Adam was saying is that like it was good that they didn't do too much expo, but I think you wanted more expo, more exposition.
I think I did. Yeah.
I see.
So to be clear, Austin, in case you are still confused, the reason why the dad is in jail is because he's been framed or accused for the murder of Barry's mother and his former wife, technically. That's the explanation.
So in the original, how did these scenes like? Because like the jail scene and then Batman being in the train scene, were they right after each other in the original?
I think so, but I'm not 100%. Yeah.
Okay. I was making sure.
Yeah, no worries. Jake or Darren, did you guys have any comments on the jail scene between Barry and his dad?
I mean, that hand.
What was that? What was that, Darren?
Just that hand, the heartstring, like you said.
Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think, Jake? Anything you want to add?
Nah, not too much. Yeah, it was just. I mean, it's just a good scene. I don't remember. Was it too different from the original?
I think they add like a bit more dialogue to it. But I don't know like the.
Because I feel like the Batman scene probably had more Joss Whedon jokes.
No, the Batman scene definitely had more Joss Whedon stuff. And
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
because I feel like it plays a lot better in this.
Yes,
Because I'm rewatching it. I like because Barry does that thing where like, because Batman does that thing where he's like, "Are you gonna join?" And Barry's just like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, really?" And basically, Barry's like, "Yeah, I need friends."
Right.
But for me, like, it works better. Because like having like watched this again and seeing that jail scene, like it makes sense why he's saying like the "I need friends" bit like plays better because now he knows he's Batman, he's like,
oh yeah.
To me, it reads as him saying like, "Oh, like I need friends, like you could help me."
Right.
My dad
Right.
It
You're
makes
right.
the
You're
joke
totally right.
three-dimensional instead of just being like oh, I need friends because I'm weird. It's like
exactly.
Oh, I need friends because my dad's in jail for not murdering my mother.
Yeah. And on top of that too, it goes back to what the dad told him to do was like, make something of yourself. And what more could you make of yourself by like what else could you do that's even better than teaming up with Batman to save the world? You know what I'm saying?
Also,
go ahead.
Flash is Jewish apparently. There you go.
What was that?
Yeah. Flash is Jewish. Awesome.
Really? I did not catch that at all.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that looks just like a handsome Jewish boy right there. It's not me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was funny too. Like the way he was like, "Do you know this guy?" He's like, it looks like really handsome to me," or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Like,
Yeah.
he's handsome Jewish haircut though.
What was that, Austin?
I'm sorry, I was just ripping. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I believe in the original cut they had the whole joke about like what is brunch or something like that. I'm glad they took that.
Yep.
It was just not not needed at all.
Definitely, I think like for the
Force
Flash,
Joss Whedon joke.
Evened out his jokes.
Mhm.
Like he was not just saying so much with the first movie. It was just running his mouth, but he had scenes like the hot dog scene where he was making the jokes implied, and more character development where you saw like the first go around he was just like, "I need friends," but you see the reason behind it too. So it's not just throwing Flash in the mix, but like I said, 4 hours into a movie, you're developing these characters and using the time wisely.
Yeah. And one thing that I also wanted to say too, I know we're going back a little bit, but in that scene where we first see Flash with Iris and all that, I do like the way that they show Flash's powers, because it's so easy to fall into the X-Men trap because of how they did the Quicksilver scenes and whatnot. I like that it's all about lightning, and they also show the scale of his powers later on, which we'll talk about in a bit. I do really
want to see. I want to see a cut of Ezra Miller like doing all the Flash scenes, but no SFX.
Oh yeah.
I'm running really slowly.
You're right though. It's a hard power to portray uniquely compared to other portrayals of super speed.
Yeah.
But I think that they do a good job. It's almost like he's entering some like an altered state where he which could probably be the Speed Force. Like he enters a altered dimension almost. It's like he's going into something and then he exits it.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Quicksilver portrayal where it's literally slow motion.
Right.
It's not that they're portraying him running fast, it's them portraying the Speed Force well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I also like the way this scene ends where they're getting into the car and then like Barry's like, "So what's your power?" It's like, "I'm rich." It's like it's true.
I remember that.
Fucking Batman in this movie. Batman and Aquaman, like they're my lower two in this movie.
Yeah, I feel like they're not given a lot to do, but we'll talk more about that. So Barry joins immediately. And then after that, what happens? I'm trying to
basically we actually after that we have the Diana Alfred thing we talked about where they do the tea.
Okay.
But basically after this we go into the fucking Atlantis again, and Mara is defending the cube and all that stuff.
Right.
You see blood in the water. It's so good.
Yeah, blood. So I'll say this. Yeah. I remember what Austin said. We're like, they know the cube is like getting ready to be attacked. Mara comes there. There's like 3 guards. You know,
there's like nobody there.
I don't understand.
Where is everybody?
Like, especially compared to like the Themysciras, the Amazons, right? They're surrounding the cube, waiting for people to come in.
Way more somehow.
I really thought we would get more in this version.
Yeah.
I thought it had to be like the cutting room. They had to make for time. It's not seriously just the 4 of them, right? But no,
I think it's just they just didn't have the budget to do another Amazon scene with them. Yeah.
But also, like water, they figured like, who can come down here? It's so big.
We're the best underwater. You know what I'm saying? Like no one can match us. Oh.
And like Austin, just like think of the scale that would have to have another Amazon fight, but underwater.
Yeah,
like that would have been super difficult.
Yeah,
maybe if you don't have the extras, perhaps like some interesting bits of technology or
just better choreography.
Cleverness.
It definitely felt like this was still like trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like Aquaman, like you can feel like, okay, they figured out how to do the fights underwater and like how to film people underwater.
Yes.
This like when I was like rewatching just a clip of it, I was like, ooh, like you could tell like they didn't know how to like work this yet.
Yeah. So basically the scene is just Steppenwolf and his parademons come in to take
shows
the box.
up.
He just shows up. The only people who are there. Meanwhile, I just want to say, Ocean Master nowhere to be found. Ocean Master. Ocean Master ain't defending the box. It's only Mera, and then of course Aquaman comes in later.
You know what? Mera does fucking bloodbending.
Yeah, I was about to say that's the best part about the scene. That's the best
literally, part. It took me a second. I was like, oh, she's literally pulling the water with the blood out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sadly, it doesn't work. It throws her.
Yeah, I would say that's the coolest part of the entire scene for me, because I don't think she did that in the original cut, at least from what I remember.
I don't think she did not.
Yeah,
I would have remembered Bloodbend.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool way of showing how deadly her powers are, because it's so easy. Like, oh, they're underwater, so you can control water. Oh, I see.
They can control water.
Yeah,
they kind of like
make your blood.
Yeah.
What was that, Jake? Sorry.
Well, I was just saying they really underuse her a lot of times.
Yes.
Don't really make it
all
clear.
the Atlanteans don't really work.
And then like Arthur shows up and like you would think that they'd have the advantage because they're underwater, right?
No.
You would think, but like nothing really happens.
It doesn't quite work. Yeah, because somehow he
gets like what, like 2 punches, and then like Steppenwolf breaks the tower and leaves.
Yep. And then he just leaves.
But like I was saying, like it felt very like, ooh, how do we fight? Because like, what other big budget movie fight scene happens underwater? Like, there's no reference for them to be like, okay, like this is how person B did it, so let's like copy them. Like
they were already so stretched. They probably just were like, let's just get out of here quickly.
Darren, what were you gonna say?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. I saw you light up. That's why. And then after this, right, we get the whole like the Mera and Aquaman talk in the bubble.
Another bubble.
Yeah. I think this is the first time that they've ever met, from what I understand.
Really? There's no way.
I think.
No way.
In the movie, at least. In the movie.
Actually, maybe. Yeah. Maybe, actually.
Because we've only seen Aquaman in terms of other Atlanteans. He only interacted with Falco, Willem Dafoe.
Right.
Yeah.
So
because in this scene we find out more about how Aquaman is like half Atlantean, about all this stuff.
Right.
And how he basically has been like not being a part of the kingdom.
Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, you should come back," and like, "Oh, I knew your mother," blah blah, and like,
it must have been nice knowing her.
Aquaman kind of being an asshole, to be honest with you, but
a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Because he is an asshole.
Basically, but I mean that's
okay. That's okay. I mean, he is.
Yeah.
He's just a fucking asshole.
And then they're like, you have to save everyone or whatever. He just leaves.
I love how like we say, like there's 4 guards. There seems to be less people in the Atlantean kingdom, even though like compared to the Amazons, which are like a single sex fucking kingdom.
Yeah.
Like there's just nobody here. But there's tons of Amazons. Okay.
It was a holiday. People had requested off. They didn't expect it.
Are all Amazons immortal, or just Diana?
I believe all I don't know if they're immortal, but they all have long life. Like we know that.
Like elves.
Like we've seen Queen Hippolyta, like in the original. Remember the flashback?
Right.
She's there.
Right.
So it's at the very least they have very long life. At the very least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Right. And what comes after this? I don't remember.
It's basically I think it's them on the rooftop with Gordon, isn't it?
Oh, where they come in on the jet or whatever,
Gordon,
and then like Barry sees the bat signal. He's like, "Oh, that's your signal."
That's you. That's you. It's like, yeah, it is. Yeah. And they go. What I liked about this little scene, because they meet Commissioner Gordon and he's explaining to them what's happening, And I think he tells him that like there's something under the harbor or something like that because I think he points him in that direction basically.
Right.
But basically like Cyborg shows up because he's chosen to join them.
Yep.
And I love it because like Wonder Woman just like gives him this like cute little smile like, oh, you came.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Aww.
Like she's like, you showed up, and he's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, yeah, just I like that. Like she followed up on caring about Cyborg.
Yeah, it was great, and I already mentioned before, I love J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon, so just seeing him even interact with everyone was cool. It was a good scene. It was a good scene. It was a short scene too. It wasn't.
Pretty short.
Ended on a gag too, where everyone leaves, right? And
everyone leaves except Flash.
They do the Batman. Yeah.
Flash is like, that's kind of rude, and then they zip away.
They ditches.
Yeah.
And basically after this, they go under the harbor to confront Steppenwolf.
Are we in part 3 now? I forget.
Yeah, we're in part 4.
Okay.
We're in part 4.
Yeah.
I missed the part.
Machine.
I missed the part where we go beloved mother, beloved son. It's all right.
Beloved mother, beloved son.
Yeah, so
now we're in part 4.
Yep.
And yeah, they go underneath the harbor, and they do this thing where they're remember like they go underneath the harbor, and there's this like bridge down there that's like broken.
Oh, this scene was weird.
And they all do their own little jump.
Yeah.
But like they all do this like cool little jump, like fucking Wonder Woman like leaps it,
right.
Like Flash like zips over it. But fucking like Batman does his grappling hook. I'm like, okay, lame. But then like they cut, like Cyborg doesn't get a jump. Like
wait,
just flies over.
No. They show him flying over it in the background.
Oh,
like he doesn't get a cool jump. They're like, we're not.
My favorite part was before this, when they get out of their machine, they all just walk up the stairs.
Yeah.
I was like, man, you didn't need a shot of that. Like, come on.
You didn't need to see that.
Yeah,
it's
like,
normal.
Imagine how long they just spent. Like, all right, so we're just gonna walk. Like, how did Flash not just go all the way up?
Yeah.
These guys are literal gods, and they have to take a staircase.
It was so funny.
But yeah, basically this whole scene is like they see Steppenwolf interrogating the people that he stole from the research facility.
Yes.
And I think Victor's dad is there,
Mm-hmm.
and like because we see the janitor, it's like I don't know anything, and poor Howard is like, he doesn't know anything. I know it.
Yeah.
And he's like, really? And so he's about to grab him
with his spider thingy, whatever.
Yeah, but Cyborg shows up and he's like, hey. And he like they all start fighting basically, and we go into the big fight sequence for the we're at the halfway point of the movie.
Yeah, basically. This is like really the first big fight scene with all the heroes together. Well,
yeah,
obviously except Aquaman. Yep. But we see our heroes face off against Steppenwolf. What did you all? Because obviously it was in the first cut. Like it's not like they completely took out the battle. But they definitely they definitely did some changes here. How did you all feel about this battle scene overall?
It looked cool. I mean. I don't remember what changed. The one note I wrote down is again Diana's line where Steppenwolf's like, "This one, back off. This one belongs to me."
Oh yeah,
like, I belong to no one. It's like
so odd. It's like it's like a little hypersensitive.
It's like okay.
I belong to no one. Like, that's not what he was saying. It's very uncharitable.
I get it.
Right.
But yeah, we see a scene of her like fighting him, and they're getting into it.
Yeah,
because I don't remember. I guess because Cyborg basically like saves the hostages first, him and Barry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Aquaman and Wonder Woman are just like duking it out, and Batman is like, just like kind of like grappling around.
Yeah,
like, this is like the beginning of my problems with Batman. It's like he's kind of like lame.
Yes, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
He's like fighting one parademon.
Yeah, he's like usually fighting like a minion. He's like,
can't hang.
Like,
he buffs people.
He definitely can't hang. And like I think I don't know if they did it because they really wanted to sell toys, but like in this movie, it was like Batman needed a vehicle if he ever wanted to do anything. Like
basically, yeah.
Especially if you compare to
like
some previous comics or like other media, like Batman is able to hold his own. Like God knows how, considering like it doesn't make any sense on any.
He's got like super armor and stuff like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But in this one, like the only like he struggles to fight parademons, sort of thing.
Yeah, basically he is older in this. That's true.
Yeah,
he's kind of like an older Batman.
But
basically he summons like the weird like Batman the Nightcrawler, as it's called.
Yeah. I like it.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was.
It was dumb fun for sure. I also really liked the scene where Barry and Cyborg are saving everyone, and then Barry has that moment with his dad where his dad's like, I didn't think you would come, and then he was like, of course I would. You're my father, and I was like, okay, this is good.
Victor.
I like this.
Yeah,
I like this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they set them up a lot more in this. Yeah.
Yes. I know you asked about the changes. One of the biggest changes that I noticed compared to the theatrical cut, in the original theatrical cut, they had that part where Flash is all like, I've never saved anyone before. I need help. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I'm frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Moron.
yeah, and then Batman goes, you save one person, and then you save another, one at a time kind of thing. Which I think, like, in isolation, looking back on it, that was actually one of my favorite parts of the scene. But I'm okay with it not being here. Like, I don't miss it particularly. I like what they did here. I like how there's such an emotional reaction from Cyborg about his dad, like, potentially, like, dying for what he knows, right? I thought that was really cool. I thought the fight scenes between Steppenwolf and Wonder Woman were good, like, because it was kind of a mano-a-mano fight. Yeah. What'd you think, Darren?
Definitely, just like all the fight scenes here are more struggle rather than like one-sided. So that's one thing I can appreciate.
Yeah, that is something they touch on in the movie, is that it is a struggle, even with all the heroes together, to take on Steppenwolf and the Parademons. It is a struggle.
Yeah, because these things, it can get kind of a little bit like, I punch you really hard, you smash into a wall, and then you punch me really hard, and we smash into a wall. That kind of thing.
Right.
Ethan, what were you saying?
I thought this scene would have been like a good because this scene is almost like they almost could have like split the movie into two parts. It feels like in the original cut. Because they could this could have been the climax of the first movie of the Justice League. Because we have basically all the heroes show up. It's a big confrontation because like we see them actually working together in this. Because we see like Diana's fighting Steppenwolf, but she falls. But then Flash like gives her the sword back when he does the little thing. Fucking like Batman and the mecha is like helping them crawl out of the water as the water rises. Aquaman is like trying to stop the water. Like all this stuff happens, and it felt nice because like I felt like, oh, they're actually using all of them in the situation.
Right. Cyborg takes over the Nightcrawler, and like,
Cyborg takes over once it breaks to like get it back online. Like it felt like, well, they're all contributing to this.
One thing I do want to point out, and I'm not sure how you guys all feel about this. Maybe I just missed it, but like sometimes I get confused by Barry's power because like if he's moving so fast, in theory, he should always see what's coming to him. No, like I know
he missed that rock, that one rock.
No. In this scene, he gets hit by one of the Parademons, like laser beams, plasma bolts, whatever. And like he's like, that really hurts, kind of thing. And it happened like right after he gave Wonder Woman the sword.
It's weird because
Go
ahead.
He tripped. I think he tripped. He like looked at Diana, gave her a smile, and then tripped.
Yeah, he trips because it's like I think what they're trying to imply, and I think I kind of like because I think what they're trying to say is that like the Flash isn't like that good with his powers yet, and I think part of it is that he doesn't quite seem to react at like normal speed.
Right.
Like it seems like even him, like he's like trying to like keep up with himself a little bit, because he can be caught off guard sometimes. Because we see it in other places in the movie where like you would think he would move faster, but he's always kind of like moving at like a weird slow pace.
Right.
So I think that he himself can only like kind of react so quickly to like the things that are happening.
Which I do want to say is cool because he's clearly the most inexperienced like hero. Like, even though obviously Cyborg literally just got his powers a couple of days ago, he definitely seems a bit more comfortable.
He's got all that processing power to get a handle on it.
He downloaded the instruction manual. You know.
Right.
I think this was a cool scene. I like that Aquaman kind of came in at the end with like stopping the water and all that other stuff. So good call out on that, Ethan.
Point.
Yeah. What's up?
I would have to agree with Ethan. Like, they built Batman up in Batman v Superman to be like, look, like he can fucking take on Superman and like all this stuff, and then like in this movie, it's like, all right, like one pair of demons, like.
He's like,
so I've always hated that. Even from going from Batman v Superman to theatrical to this, it's like you built him up so much in the previous movie. And now it's just like he should be able to go to toe with like anyone.
In fairness, they did show how useless he was against Doomsday. In fairness, it was mostly Wonder Woman and Superman on that. He was kind of just in the background being like, yeah, guys, you got this.
They have this weird scaling problem with Batman. Yeah. Where they can't really seem to do anything with him.
Yes. They don't really seem to know what to do.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
Yeah. Especially since they have so much media.
Because the way I thought about it, he's not really like, it's almost like he's not part of the Justice League. He's like their manager. You know what I mean? he's doing all that stuff around them and helping set them up, but he's not actually like doing the things. He's just like, no, you guys got this.
Right. So after this scene, they are just like, oh, what do we do now? Where's the last box? Cyborg reveals that he has the last box, and then I'm pretty sure this is a scene where he explains like how he came into possession of it and whatnot, where the whole like, apparently, of course, the Nazis find it because the Nazis just find everything.
Yeah, technology. The Nazi
like
bit,
whether it be the Ark of the Covenant or the Holy Grail, they always find these artifacts. So
the fucking Aquaman was such a dick in this fucking scene.
Yeah,
because he was like trying to imply that Cyborg, and because of Cyborg and the mother boxes are connected.
Right.
He was wondering if Cyborg was part of them, like he was like a plant.
Right. Yes.
And it was really weird because like I think Diane is like, don't say something like that, and Aquaman's like, oh, I'm saying it.
It was also like uniquely shot too, because I'm pretty sure they were just spinning around the table the entire time. It was
that's definitely what they were doing.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
So of course the Nazis find it, and of course because we won the war, of course the Americans took it.
The Americans end up with it, and it ends up where his dad works, basically.
Yeah. So that's how his dad came into possession of it, and they do some testing on it, and then eventually, help Cyborg come back to life, that kind of thing. So
there were.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Like there were like some things that I liked. Like the problem is that like, okay, well I will say like this I liked how in this because I don't really like the mother boxes.
I don't
controversial thing.
But
I don't really like that. They're kind of like they're such a MacGuffin.
Yes.
It's like why does Darkseid and his gigantic army of aliens, it seems like, need these things to do it?
They're not even like unique. Like, remember you compared them to the Infinity Gems? Like each one does something cool. Whereas like if you have even one box, it's literally all right. Like it's just there sitting there. Like it doesn't even do anything cool.
They're not they don't feel quite as baked into the setting as like the Infinity Stones because the mother boxes show up in this movie and then they're sort of done with them at the end of this movie.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of a problem of them like not having enough movies, but
yes.
But I did like how like they tried to portray them like the only interesting thing that came out of this like this like backstory scene is like that like Cyborg is trying to like portray the mother boxes as like kind of like neutral almost, like they're not like they don't have like a will to like unto their own.
Right.
Like they seem to just they seem to just like be these things because he explains that the mother boxes can destroy, but they can also like revert because they brought him back to life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do that thing with like with the house and the smoke, because like anybody can burn the house, but like the mother boxes can bring the house back from the smoke.
Right.
And that's why because they end up on the point of like, wait, we could use these to bring back Superman.
Right.
Which I kind of like. I fucking hate. Why you guys don't need him?
Yeah. So this is one of my biggest.
Like the whole it's like the big problem I have with the movie is that it feels like it just turns into like, oh, let's just get Superman back.
Right.
He's been dead for 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
Like we need him back. It feels like the whole movie is building up to like together we are strong. Together we can do this.
Yes.
Like we together we are in Justice League. But it just turns into let's just get this individual guy back.
Yeah,
you're so right.
Let's get our big gun. And this is something else. Before I let you go, Austin, I just want to say, kind of touching on what Ethan was saying before. One of the biggest problems with this movie is the power scaling, right? Because we just talked about how Batman becomes useless. Everyone becomes useless once because they basically imply that we're all useless unless we have Superman, kind of thing. And it's like that it becomes not interesting anymore.
Because he just does everything they do but better somehow, and it's like okay.
It's like, and I'm so curious as to what Zach's like intention is here, because he's clearly trying to make an allegory or basically use Superman as a Christ-like figure, right? We have the fall of Christ and then the resurrection of Christ kind of thing, and how like everyone regrets it once he's dead and all this other stuff. But like I just don't. It's like he has the idea, but like it doesn't go deep enough for it to like really resonate. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
Because it feels like it would have been so much more powerful, like if they had like Superman had come back at the end by accident, almost. You know what I mean?
Right.
because it just seems like them plan A being like, let's get Superman back is like, all right, like, can't you guys are literally gods, like, can't you do it? Like,
right.
It's just one Steppenwolf, you could take him.
And then the fact that they get their asses handed to them by Superman, it's just like, all right,
and we'll get there. But the other thing that doesn't make sense too is also they explain in this scene that the only reason why the mother boxes woke up is because Superman died. But then it becomes like, well, before Superman got to the planet, why didn't the mother boxes wake up? Because there was no Kryptonian. So like,
that's a good point. Yeah,
it's like, wait a second.
Yeah, because basically they say that the mother boxes called out, like, they didn't call out while he was there because they were like afraid of him.
Yeah.
But they could sense him being there, and they were like, oh, I'm not gonna tell anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it makes you wonder, like, because he wasn't there for a while before.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It calls into question the neutrality that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They also, I mean, they lump the Kryptonians with the Guardians. Like, they not only is there no Superman, there's also no Lantern currently on Earth. Maybe there was one.
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
What was that alien Lantern doing, basically?
Yeah, like thousands of years ago.
Yeah. It seems like there's like a weird block of time where it's like, why didn't the mother boxes just call immediately? It's also weird to me how they lost the mother boxes.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we couldn't find the planet. It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You were just there. You don't keep a record of where you're going.
Right.
That's how many you destroyed that you just don't know.
Like, it was very strange. I forget if it was the second or the third Skype call. I don't remember. But basically, Steppenwolf tells Desaad, like, yes, this is the planet, actually, where Darkseid failed, and this is where they could get the anti-life equation. It's like, I feel like that was a bit of a significant moment. Like, you guys didn't write that down somewhere. Hey, we should go back to this planet in the future. Maybe when we're a bit stronger. Like, no one wrote that down.
I don't know how they lost that information. Basically.
No,
it seems like you would know that, like, this is the anti-life planet.
Yeah,
but they just seem to forget it.
You would think that it would be like, note to self, 100 years from now, let's invade again when we're stronger. But instead, they just forgot. Like, what?
They like somehow lose it. Yeah, I don't know, like, what they. It feels like they should have done something where like they destroyed the ships or something, and like nobody escaped. But like, no, they just don't know where it is somehow.
And this is really, it's funny because to me, the first half of the movie really drags because they're doing so much setup. But the last half of the movie like goes by pretty quickly, and it's relatively well paced. But in the second half is where all of like these like I wouldn't say tonal issues, but more like writing things. We're just like, wait a second, wait, what? And they start talking about the lore and like the backstory, and it's just like that's where it falls apart a little bit. Where it's just like, wait, hold on, that doesn't make sense because of X, Y, or Z. And this is just one of those instances where I think it's just like, why would that happen? And then of course it's funny too because like. When Steppenwolf tells Desaad, Darkseid comes on the call. He's like, "You found it. This is what I've been looking for." I was like, you would think that like you died there, you would remember where you died. But he's like,
it's like in Minecraft when you die, you don't know where you died on the map, and you're like, "Oh, my stuff."
Yeah.
And then of course, that seems like what it was. Yeah.
Of course, they dangle in front of him.
You forgot to enable coordinates.
Yeah. They dangle in front of him. It's like, oh, Steppenwolf, really? Well, if you get this world, then we might finally let you home. And then you see that the hope in Steppenwolf's eyes.
Yeah, he gets a glimmer of hope. Setting him up.
Yeah.
Also, a funny thing about this sequence is just like when he's like, I found the anti-life equation. He's like, I have looked with my own eyes. It's like, what?
Eyes.
And the other thing is, too, you would think that when Darkseid hears, oh, yes, we found the world with the anti-life equation, he's not going to let some dude he doesn't even care about try and take the... Yes, you would think that he'd send the entire armada. We're taking the planet immediately. But, whatever. So... Eventually, they decide in this scene that they're going to go resurrect Superman, even though Aquaman especially seems very, very adamant against it. The other thing that's really established here is that Bruce Wayne, Batman, seems to have like a massive guilt complex going on here. Like he feels bad about how he tried to kill Superman. Feels bad about how he failed him in life, and they really start to establish this here because he's really the one that's pushing. Like, we need to revive him. We need to revive him. We need to revive him.
It's like a problem. It's like. Because I mean it's like I think he feels that he's like doomed the world by basically like because he feels very responsible for trying to fight Superman and trying to kill him basically
nearly killing him
and I guess I mean go ahead.
Saying he like it's in his character, right? He doesn't like he anytime he feels responsible for somebody that weighs on him, and that's what made him into the Batman, right? Like he couldn't save his parents.
He had trouble with grief. Is his whole character.
Yes, guilt.
Good point.
The one thing that's established here too, and well, it like they say it, but it's not really developed well because you're like, come on, guys, you're gonna revive Superman, but it's implied, right, that we're not sure if he's actually gonna come back as himself. He might come back and not remember us, or that he's gonna go on like a rampage.
They don't quite say it, but yeah.
That's what Aquaman is really, really afraid of. So, but they all eventually decide to kind of revive him. Darren, did you have anything you want to comment on that before we keep on going?
No. Let's go to the next part.
Now we get to Martian Manhunter with
the next part is good, but also very odd.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, Martha goes over to Lewis's apartment.
Martha being Superman's mom.
Yeah. And Lewis is like, "Oh my God, hi!" And it's like, "Hi," and it's this very touching scene because they touch on this like very interesting thing, which is that the whole world is grieving Superman.
Right.
But then basically Martha says they act like they know him, but like I knew him, but I can't say it. You know what I mean? Like I can't express that like my son is dead. My son is dead. Right. Like I can't say it because like they're trapped. You know what I mean? It's almost like they can't express their grief properly.
Yes.
And and so Lois and Martha can really bond over that.
Right, because they're the only two people in the world who can relate in that way.
Yeah.
They actually knew that Clark was obviously Batman does, but Batman's awful doing his thing. But like for them, they're the only two people who loved him in that way. And
Martha has this great line. Has this great line where she's like, "I can't tell everyone how proud I am of my son."
Yes.
And it's like such a it's such a good line.
Yeah.
But it's so odd scene because the scene ends and he's like, "Are you gonna be okay, Martha? You lost the farm." It's like, no, it's fine. She walks out. It was Martian Manhunter.
It ruins the scene. I'm sorry. I'm saying this. It ruins the scene. It reeks of fan service. If you just take out that Martian Manhunter scene, it's such a good scene.
It's so good. It makes sense still. It's like it's not like he needed to be there. It's really weird.
It's so uplifting too because like I remember the part where she was just like, there is one that you can do for me. It's like come back to the world of the living.
Go back to work.
And it was just like wow, like this is some like heavy
move
stuff.
Move on, Lewis.
Yeah, the world needs you because of all the stuff that you do. Well, it's so well done, and like it actually gives again Lois like a bit more of an arc. It shows her growth, blah 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 blah.
And it's great because it's these down to earth moments that I feel like DC like sometimes lacks.
Yes.
Because they're always so obsessed with the Pantheon.
Also, it's good for Martha too because the only other scene we see of her before this is that fact that she lost her farm and she like went to go visit the grave. That's literally all we see before that.
And it's weird because now in this like knowing that it was Martian Manhunter, that therefore means that Martha didn't like reach out to Lois at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She just doesn't care.
And on top of that too, it opens up this whole can of worms where it's like, Martian Manhunter,
why does he know all this?
Yeah. It was like, why does he know all this? Where has he been? Why haven't you helped? Doomsday seemed like a big problem.
Why did he approach like that? Why did he choose to manipulate her instead of just saying like, "Hey, could you? Hi, I'm an alien from space. I think you should go back to work."
He didn't go to Batman and was just like, "Hey, look, I know you're looking for a team.
No, his first choice on Earth is to manipulate Lois Lane.
It was so it's so weird too because he goes into disguise with the general, and then it's like, okay, was the general always Martian Manhunter? Did the general die at some point, and then the Martian Manhunter took over? It's like, I
didn't even think about that.
What is happening? Also, I thought it would have been so funny too if like. Afterwards, like when turns back into Martian Manhunter, Lois is like, "Hey, Martha, you forgot something." Oh,
you forgot. Oh,
who are you?
That's been like a Marvel scene. Yeah, who's it?
And the weird part is too, he's not even talking to anyone. He changes in the middle of the hallway. It could have been Lois's neighbors coming downstairs. He changes in the middle of the hallway. It's like, yes, the world needs you. I don't know why
the Martian Manhunter scene is there. Yeah, like it kind of like I kind of ignore it honestly. Like I'll just take the scene without it.
Yeah. In my head canon, it's not there.
Yeah, man. He doesn't need to be there. It's really weird.
It was so bad, and I just want to say this too. That scene without the Martian Manhunter part was so much better than what was in the Whedon cut. Because in the Whedon cut, it was like they were at work and like they were having coffee. It was so brightly lit.
Yes, that's right. It was a completely different thing where they're at work, and she's like making this weird joke about like harassment in the workplace or something. Because the guy's like, "Are you gonna give me your sources? I don't share my sources." And it's weird.
It was weird. It was very odd. I think again without that Martian.
Yeah, compared to this scene, like it's so emotional. Like you can really feel what the DC universe is going for in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it's so sad that Josh replaced the whole thing.
Yeah,
he's just like, oh no, we can't.
Yeah.
And especially because again, like really the only women that we see in this movie shown prominently is Wonder Woman, Diana, right? And this scene shows two of the biggest women in the DC universe, especially relevant to such a big character as Superman, in such a very, very uplifting, emotional scene, like we've been saying.
They're kind of annoyingly relevant, but
yeah, and like, yes, they're definitely used as plot devices more often than not.
Yeah, we'll see later, but they're kind of annoying how much they're used.
But this is one of the best parts of the movie, I think, in terms of raw acting.
It was great.
It's incredible.
What's her name? Amy
Adams.
Amy Adams.
Yeah, Amy Adams. Yep.
Actress. I was like, this is great.
Diane Lane too did a great job. Beautiful stuff. Okay, so after this, I think this is what
wait.
Oh, go ahead.
Wait. I want to clarify something.
Please go ahead.
Okay. The guy, so the general and the actor who plays him, also plays the alien form of Jean. So I assume Jean is the general.
Yeah.
Like he's been posing as him. It's not because you had said, is he always the general? Is he just posing as him right now? I think he is and has been involved in the military for whatever reason.
Right, but then that turns into the whole question of like, why did he help?
Yeah, why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love Jean. I don't know why. I don't know.
He's very weird in this movie.
Yeah.
He's like hanging around the sides. Like,
very odd. So I believe after this is when they're digging up Superman's body, right? I believe.
Wait.
What was that?
I'm not gonna think about this Manhunter anymore because I'm thinking like he's on the planet, but he doesn't help with Steppenwolf at all.
No, he doesn't help with Steppenwolf. Is he
thinking like it's not his place?
He doesn't.
Busy?
He doesn't help with Steppenwolf. He doesn't help when General Zod invades in Man of Steel. He doesn't help when Doomsday is there.
No, my only idea is that he thinks it's as an outsider. He doesn't think himself like an immigrant like Superman. He thinks he's kind of he's here and he wants the path of Earth to go as it should, and whether that means destruction. That's my only guess.
Interesting, but they just didn't say it.
It's interesting, but also it doesn't work. It doesn't work because he finds himself in a position of power to make change happen. If he was a hobo, it's different. But he's actually a prominent figure in the world's largest and most important military. All right, whatever. So
I got nothing.
Yeah. So next scene is when they're digging up the gravesite, and I actually like this one too because there's like a couple funny bits, like when
there's little bits.
I think it was Barry that was like, "So Wonder Woman, you think I'd have a chance or whatever?" And like,
the younger guy thing.
Yeah, and
everyone's the younger guy to her.
Yeah.
So,
I thought that was
because I like the dynamic between. I keep coming back. Like Wonder Woman, like she has a good dynamic with like all of the members of the squad. It seems like because she talks to Aquaman in this, like finally. Because it seems like they don't quite get along, the two of them, because like Atlantean and Amazon, I guess.
Yeah. Not only have they not met each other, but there's a history between their races, kind of thing. Correct.
Yeah. And they find out that they like share like a fucking saying. I don't know. I forget what the saying was.
Yeah, I forget what it is, but it was something ominous about maybe we shouldn't resurrect. Yes.
Something like that, and they're like, "Oh, we're the same in that way." And it's like, "Whoa!"
Right.
But yeah, it's just a nice little a nice little character moment between the two of them.
Right.
That's what I like.
And the other thing I like too is when Barry like had that moment of like vulnerability opening up. Right, it was like he was my hero kind of thing, and like.
I thought that was forced. I don't know.
Well,
I thought that was forced.
The thing that I like about it is because we never see it anywhere, like where everyone's just like, "Oh, how much I looked up to him," and it's nice to.
Yeah.
I think it adds motivation to why Barry wants to resurrect him too, because obviously without him, they don't resurrect him. But the other thing I had to think about it was just like, Barry, you could like dig this up in like a second. Like, why are you guys just like going?
Respectful.
Yeah, just doing the shovel.
They mentioned it, yeah. They both could do it in like a second, but they don't. Because,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. You don't want to accidentally shred his body or something.
I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
I also really like the and this comes up a little bit later too in the sequence, but I really like the kind of the dialogue between Aquaman and Barry. Right. Just because I don't know, I just like them kind of messing around and having fun.
Yeah,
they're kind of like the two funny ones. Yeah, because they're both in the car. Yeah.
In general, the banter, interactions, whatever you want to call it, between all the members is significantly better in this cut compared to the Whedon cut. Significantly
more genuine.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like weird and forced and like trendy. It feels like them sort of being how they are. But yeah, they basically after they get the body,
Do they go directly to the base, or was
essentially yes? There's a small scene with Batman and Alfred where it has the most cringy dialogue in the world.
Yes.
The red cape thing.
Oh,
where it's like when the bull is charging, you don't wave the red cape at it, and Batman's like, well, this red cape charges back.
Oh my god!
Shut the fuck up. Who wrote that?
Alfred also calls Superman. He's like, something about all the king's horses. And it's like, are you calling Superman Humpty Dumpty?
Yeah, like it was like a scene that was meant to have like gravitas and like add more to the whole like risk thing, but it just came out like guys, this is so dumb.
It was a scene you could cut.
Yeah.
It was because it was like them trying too hard to be like cool.
Also, we forgot to mention this too. Throughout all the scenes with like when they're at the base, I don't know if it's the Batcave, it's just home base, we'll call it. They keep on talking about how like the ship won't work or something. Like there's this mystery, it just won't work. All the engineers at Wayne Enterprises just can't crack the code. Yeah. And it's like, guys, like what? I don't understand why we're putting so much emphasis on this. Why mention that? It doesn't matter.
Because they want to set it up so when Cyborg fixes it, it's like a big thing. They have this like new machine. Because I think what they want to do, Adam, is they want to set up that ship as being like the Justice League ship. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like that's like their craft. You know what I mean?
But like it doesn't even do anything cool. Like it just crashes afterwards.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Whatever. I get it. We all gotta sell toys. Whatever. Anyway.
That's it.
Yeah. So basically, they sneak into the army base after this.
They were like,
and we have a
suit up. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking. It's weird because like. They're like parked outside the army base, and they're like still like deciding on what hat to wear or something.
I thought that was funny.
But like he goes in and like Barry's like, here's the card, and Cyborg like just it's weird because Cyborg like has to take a second to like hack the thing. I feel like it would have been cooler if Cyborg did it like a lot faster because like he takes like a couple seconds to actually do it so that they can get through. But they get through and they fucking they get into the base and basically like I think the Cyborg start the alarm. I think.
He starts like some sort of alarm. Correct.
The alarm goes off, and they force everyone to evacuate so that they can sneak in and get onto the ship. But basically, like the dad is like, "What do you mean? It can't be. It can't be. There's nothing here. We just did a sweep. Let's not. This is a false alarm, you guys." And he's like trying to get everyone to stop. But then like he's like on the radio saying like, "Oh, we come on, everybody, calm down. There's nothing here. Nothing here." And then like the door opens. It's like the four of them, like these like Comic-Con cosplayers. Like all staring at him, and he's like, "Oh, never mind."
Yeah.
It is a nice moment because like you see like Howard like trying to support Cyborg and like not getting in the way. He's like he basically like plays like interception for them. He says like, "Oh yeah, everybody get out, everybody get out." It
shows the evolution of their relationship in the movie.
Yeah, like they basically just kind of like nod at each other and they go inside,
right?
Which is kind of nice.
So
basically they're on the ship.
Yeah, they're in the original ship that Superman came in, which was seen in Man of Steel, and basically they're trying to use the. I don't know if there's like special water if they ever talk about, but basically they're trying to use the ship in order to revive Superman using the power of the Mother Box.
Yeah, it's kind of weird setup, but
it was a little weird. And so basically, what we come to find is that it needs a massive charge in order for it to work.
Yeah.
Flash says that I can generate that charge if I go fast enough. And the entire time we're supposed to like feel this sense of worry because Aquaman keeps on saying this might not work. Even the ship says like, I don't know about this one, Chief.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Cyborg interfaces with the Kryptonian ship, and the ship is like, "Don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. I really don't think you should do this."
Yeah. And Batman keeps on saying, "Just do it. Just do it. Just do it." Aquaman keeps on saying, "I don't know about this one." It was funny too because like, not Ray Fisher. Cyborg's like, "All right, when I say go, you go." Flash, and then he's like, "What?" And then like. And then they keep saying, no, okay, go. And then they just do it anyway.
Because what happens is Cyborg, like, he interfaces and, like, he sees, like, a vision, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I forgot about this. You're correct.
Yes, that's why he says that, because he sees, like, a vision of them all dead or something. Or something like that.
Yeah.
I forget what it is exactly.
It was like a vision of the future. It's implied. It's like where what's it called? It's kind of like Injustice, where the world is taken over. Darkseid.
Was it the bit with like Wonder Woman is like on a funeral pyre?
Yeah, it was on a funeral pyre. There's that shot where like they show like I think it was like the trident was like in the rubble and like some other stuff was in the rubble.
Yeah, like he basically sees that this is going to lead to ruin.
Yeah,
and he says like he like whispers no,
Yeah.
And Barry's like, go? Okay. And he just starts going.
All right.
He's like, oh! And basically, like, during the Barry sequence, which I like, because I like Barry's powers. I do.
Yes.
Because we see for the first time he's going very close. Like, he goes past the speed of light a little bit.
Right.
And basically, because of that, because he's going so fast, he goes back in time.
Right.
Because the mother box, he actually gets the timing wrong at first, and the mother box sinks too deep.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, what happens is he goes a little bit faster, and the mother box like goes backwards, and then he does it.
Yes.
Which is I like. It's like a nice setup for later on.
Yes.
Which it's because this was in the original movie, right? Like him, like the mother box, like going back up a little bit.
Yeah. I don't.
Because it's weird.
I don't know if it went back up. I don't remember.
I feel like
I don't think so.
It did go back up.
They may have
went
just
in
had
and
him
then
do
it
it
bounced
twice.
back up. Ethan's right.
Okay.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah? Okay.
It's weird because like that it going back up sets up the later moment. Like
Right.
it's there for a reason
Right.
because it shows that like okay, the Flash can go back in time. Like
Right.
that's his. Like, that's a
That's
part
important.
of his power set. But like it's a setup moment, but they remove the payoff moment later on.
Well, wait, no, Ethan, you're wrong. They had Flash showing back in flashing like, you gotta stop this. That was the payoff in the original, right?
That's it. You gotta stop this.
Yeah.
You gotta stop. Remember, he comes back and he's like,
But
Batman, what are you
that's more
doing?"
them like that was them like hinting at another movie that they didn't get a chance to make.
yeah.
But,
Right.
It definitely was.
but fucking yeah, basically he charges the box, and it's funny because like when they take Superman out of the box, you guys remember like he was holding the photo of his dad,
Right.
Yeah.
and I thought it was so dickish of them because they put him in the water. They don't get the photo out.
They don't.
They let the photo in the water.
You're right.
Right.
And it's like, what guys? Like, this is important to him. But,
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. Basically, he charges the box. There's a huge surge of power. Like
water
everything
goes up.
explodes.
Barry hits
Superman,
the deck. Yeah.
Yeah, Barry like goes flying because
Yeah.
he's like just like hits the deck, and then like we see like there's a hole in the ceiling and Superman's gone, and
Mm-hmm.
like and also the mother box is like launched into the parking lot.
Yeah.
It lands on that, which I want to talk about a little bit later. But yeah, basically like Superman comes back and fucking he immediately like wakes up and he starts flying towards his monument
Right.
because I don't know why, but he just does.
Yeah.
And we have the whole sequence of him versus the Justice League.
This is an interesting sequence. I'm actually really want to know what all of you think because I have some
okay.
mixed feelings on it a little bit.
Okay.
But so obviously he gets there, right? And like they do the character lineup, but without Batman. I feel like everyone got there first just because they're faster. Batman had to like jog over.
Yeah, but I will say before this,
Yeah.
before Superman, like they said, because we cut back to Lois a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
With her and the cop and the donuts and like visiting the gravesite.
Yeah.
Because basically, like, I felt bad, and it kind of annoyed me again because it's like they set her up to like after the Martha talk. It's clear that she's like trying to move on.
Yep.
And it seems like she goes back to the monument. I think she says something like it's like, oh, you're here again. He's like, and she says like, well, one last time.
Yep.
One last time.
Yep.
And yeah, and like clearly like she looks at it and she walks away from it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's clear that she's like she has decided to move on.
Yep.
From Superman.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's going to move on. Like it's like yeah, I'm gonna like I can't live in the past.
Yep.
Superman is gone, and then boom, Superman is back, and then she sees because she sees him like floating over it, and she's like, oh. I felt bad because it's like this huge moment for her to get over him, but then he just comes right back. It's like okay,
Yep.
all right.
Yeah. It's definitely Lois's like entire character arc, whatever you want to call it, within these series of movies. I've always felt is very underutilized, especially in comparison to the other heroes. So Superman comes back. They all do the character lineup about like make sure you're okay. You know, like hey, we're your friends. Blah blah. Batman's not there either because he was still jogging over, or he was like, you know what, I almost killed him. Probably not the best thing to see when you first wake up. And then I don't know, man. I felt like it was so convenient that all of a sudden Cyborg's self-defense system, like, just it works now.
I was gonna ask about that.
I was like, there's no other time where maybe the self-defense system would have come up. That like now it's just like, oh, it's gonna attack Superman.
You can't stop it at all.
Yeah, it seems so contrived and forced, kind of thing.
I thought my reasoning was that it was because he's like part mother box. Because you know how the mother boxes like respond to the Kryptonian, it seems like.
Yeah.
That was my only idea, but yeah, it seemed like I was gonna ask you guys. I
feel like that makes sense.
I wasn't sure why it activated then, and like why it was him, because I thought like, was it because Superman was scanning him? Like I wasn't sure like who made the first move. It was weird.
It's implied. Well, I'm pretty sure Superman scanned first for sure, because Cyborg is the one who says, "Hey, he's scanning us. He's looking at us and trying to evaluate our danger." Blah blah. But then he gets attacked, and then it turns into a whole brawl.
Kal-El, no. Kal-El, no.
How did you
why
guys?
Why did she know his name?
I do not know.
Probably Batman told her.
Yeah.
News? I don't know. Yeah.
Kal-El, but why would they know Kal-El? That's like
maybe.
It seems like a deep cut.
Well, Ethan, listen. Wonder Woman knows how to do a lot of research. Okay, she's the one who found all those clips about everyone. So
maybe the Amazons know about that stuff.
They know that Clark is the translation for it in Kryptonian is Kal-El. Yeah.
Oh,
so she's trying to be sensitive.
Yeah,
she's trying to be sensitive.
Of course.
Oh yeah, and actually, I don't know if it continues, but Amazonians are supposed to like know all languages and stuff like that. So
actually, probably.
Could be, yeah. So how did you guys feel about this? Like it basically turns into a brawl, right? Where the Justice League has to contain Superman. He's confused, that kind of thing. How did you all feel about it?
I got a point.
Go ahead.
Looping back to me and Ethan's earlier point about like Batman useless and being like power scaling, like you would think the freaking greatest detective in the world would be like, well, I'm gonna have some kryptonite just in case this doesn't.
He learned his lesson last time, though.
Kryptonite or like Lois.
Yeah,
that might be like a first fucking idea.
Some sort of plan.
Hey, let's get
Lois with kryptonite.
Yeah.
Look, that's honest, like my biggest gripe, especially because this is basically kind of like scene for scene between like the theatrical and Snyder's cut.
Very,
it's like,
very little different. Yeah.
You would think that he would have like, I'm not talking about killing him, but just like a little bit to just like be like, hey man, like you need to chill,
or like remember who you are, kind of thing.
Yeah,
just a tiny bit.
He has no backup plan.
Yep.
Clearly. Because he just shows up with his weird little gauntlets and he just gets shot a bunch until Lois like basically saves him.
Mm-hmm.
But
Batman in sunlight is just weird.
Oh yeah.
He was the middle of the day. He's like, hey. But like this brings me to another problem that I have with Superman in these goddamn movies is that like they keep showing Lois as like the linchpin in this. Because they keep saying like it's as if like Superman cannot be good without Lois.
Yes.
It's like why?
It's like she's Superman's keeper kind of thing.
But he's not. That's not who he is.
Yeah.
That's not like Superman is good because Superman is good.
Yes.
Superman isn't good because like some lady tamed him.
Yes.
Like his whole point is that he is inherently good.
Yes.
Like that is like to his core, he is a good person.
Yes.
Like that's his whole fucking thing. No matter what, he makes the better choice.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, it's like these movies portray him as like a beast that must be controlled.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's like no, like he's Superman. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my gripe with these movies. They treat him like some sort of like they forget that he's just Superman is supposed to be good.
Yes.
I don't know.
And they always use her as like the damsel in distress. Like if you remember in Batman v Superman, like when he was in trouble, that's when Superman came across the world to like take out the terrorists or whatever. And then like Lex Luthor also kidnapped her.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't know how to be good without her.
Like he always only saves her and not like all these other people kind of thing, or like that's what they seem to imply.
Because like he had a whole life before her, where like he was a good guy and he tried to help people.
Yes.
Like, instead, it's like no, Lois really taught him.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, like they fly off. He's naked.
Yeah.
And stuff.
I thought
I wanted.
Go ahead.
I want to say something just really funny.
Yeah.
So when they get back to the farm and they're hugging and everything, how funny would it be if they like went inside and Martha was the Manhunter again, and he's just
oh my god!
All right, got a hug from Superman.
Wait, so are you saying Martha has been Manhunter
the entire time?
That'd be amazing. That's like where
they dated Mr. Kent.
Oh my god!
Exactly. It's like a whole setup.
That's why they never had kids,
Yeah, that's why.
Alternate timeline.
Yeah.
They kept trying. It just never really something wasn't right.
Right.
He took it. Yeah.
So I think the action of the whole scene is well done overall. Like my favorite part is when Barry runs, and then you could see
Agreed.
like out of his corner of his eye, Superman notices, and I was like, "Oh, God."
Everybody likes that moment where it's like you can tell.
I remember.
He can perceive him.
That was
that was really well done.
But again, it goes back to what we were saying before, where it just the power scaling is so weird because like Superman takes out the entire league. He takes out every single one, no problemo.
Bad.
No problem. Yeah, he just completely wrecks them all. Yeah.
They're doing Superman wrong, man. I don't like Superman most of the time,
right.
And this is just the worst. They're accentuating the worst parts of the character. You know, they make it boring. You know,
Mr. Perfect.
It's because they're like
grim and he's perfect.
Villain. That's all.
Yeah.
It's that and like the entire premise of the. I'm sorry, Jake. I didn't mean to talk over you.
Oh no, you didn't. No, you're good.
The entire premise, right? Like I said before, like Zach really wants to prop him
up
as the Christ-like figure, right? Because that's the whole point of like his fall, his death, and then his resurrection kind of thing. And obviously Christ is supposed to be omnipotent being, all this other stuff. So like they're supposed to like setting up the allegory, but it by setting that up, the other parts suffer, and I think we all agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fight visually, but I get what you guys are saying. That it's like kind of like fan wanky because it's more of a like an r/who would win type moment,
right?
But they're just like let's just see because like him coming back, it's like they have to fight him, right? Because like people just want to see him fighting him. Oh, it's like let's have a moment.
One other thing that we haven't talked about too is like they add a new power for Barry, or not Barry, excuse me, for Cyborg, where he has like the arms that come out of his back. Like I think it came out in the part where like he's like trying to move Superman, and then like it's still not working, so then the arms come out and like try and do something to help.
I like how he tried to like fired something at Superman. Did he try to like freeze him or something? Remember?
It's never like it's never.
He fired a blue projectile at him that slows him for a second.
It's never clear. Like, is it plasma? Is it like a
it's like it like affects him for a moment, but he's like, oh, whatever.
Was it like a intimidation thing? Like, hey, watch yourself. Was it like a shoot to kill? Like, I don't know.
And if he fights them, and he has a headbutt fight with Diane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
See, this scene could be exactly the same, and I would be okay with it if the rest of the movie did a good job with highlighting "Together We Are Stronger."
Yes.
Like it's okay if Superman is the brute of the group.
Right.
If like
he's the best fighter, sure. Yeah.
When the Justice League is at their best, every member is contributing in their unique way, right? Like, Superman can do everything. There are stuff where he falls short or doesn't know things, but this movie could have been that fan wanky moment just to see what happened because it's kind of cool. If the rest of the movie did a good job of just making sure everybody stayed relevant.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this movie did a better job in the theater movie, I will say, of getting everyone a moment.
Right.
Because at least, like Flash has all his stuff with like the time and like all the charging, and like Cyborg's like powers seem a bit more useful, like interfacing with things.
And the other thing is too, Superman automatically looks so much better because he doesn't have the Snapchat filter on anymore. Like there's no whole CG out the mustache kind of thing. Which was like I'll never forget when you said that during the original review thing, because I was like, that's it, that was what was wrong. It looks so weird in the original cut.
The weird like cut. There's no cell phone footage in this one where it's like him talking to the kids.
Thank God. So before we all go on, Darren, is there anything you wanted to add to that scene? Did you have a take? Oh wait before okay, keep going, Darren.
I mean, like that scene, I didn't see any like parallels between the two. But the one thing I can say is Batman was a little less useless this time around.
Yeah.
The first cut, he got tossed, and there was a scene of him struggling to get up because he hurt his back or something. But this time he was on the ground, but he was still fending for himself when he was getting hit by a laser beam.
He had the gauntlets now, so he was able to take it more.
So
that was a huge game changer, honestly,
absolutely.
He was able to defend himself more, and we always talk about how useless he was, and like he could come back better prepared, because that's Batman for you. He comes in prepared with a plan, but when things kind of spring off, at least he was there doing a little bit more than the first. So before we get to what happens next in the movie, what happens is Steppenwolf comes down, like Superman goes away, he goes away with Lois. Before we get to the field, what happens is Steppenwolf comes in and takes the box, because obviously once they activate it, he gets...
No, hold on.
What?
We have to give this movie credit, because fucking in the original movie, remember, like, this was a huge point. And I remember for myself, is that in the original, like the beaming where he gets the box, we don't even fucking see it.
Yep.
Like, it's like off screen. It's like boom. It's like a comical little Tom and Jerry moment where like you just see the dust cloud shaped like Steppenwolf like run off.
Yep.
And it's like what? It's like he takes the box while they're not looking, and it's like what? But in this movie, instead, because we had the previous scene where we see Howard. He covers it with a coat and he takes it with him because it lands in the parking lot, which is kind of weird, but whatever.
Yep.
And he basically it sets it up because basically what happens is that Howard, Victor's dad, he takes it with him and he's like running into the lab,
right?
And like he puts it in the thing, and like Steppenwolf is like, "Give it to me!"
Right.
Whoa! And like basically what happens is he puts it in the laser machine with himself in it as well, which I'm like, okay, sure. But basically Cyborg is like, "No, wait, Dad, no!" And he turns on the fucking laser and he fucking like dices himself.
Yes.
Eviscerated.
Yeah.
Is gone.
And you're like, oh man, like you're like, okay, like his dad is like trying his best here, and you can feel
because it's kind of weird because at first you think that he's trying to destroy the box.
Yes. Yes.
And basically it just didn't work, and you're like, oh man, he just died for no reason.
Well,
but basically,
okay, go ahead, Ethan, go ahead.
Because what happens is basically Steppenwolf comes in, he gets the box, and he's like, "Fuck you," and he leaves.
Right.
And Cyborg's like, "No." And now like the Justice League shows up, and they're like, "What happened? What happened?"
Yeah.
I like how like Cyborg was the first one there.
Yeah, they're a little slow. A little slow. Yeah. Not the Flash. There was a couple
basically
things like
Cyborg.
That. Mm-hmm.
Cyborg realizes that his dad wasn't trying to destroy the box; he was trying to superheat it,
right?
So that like they would be able to track it, which I like because I feel like in the original they find it in the original.
Well,
did they just like find him?
No, it's because like they look at the satellite images and it's like there's this thing going on in Russia. That's probably where they are, sort of thing.
But it's weird because like it's like how do they know? It's weird. It's weird.
And it's good too because they established that in an earlier scene, right? Where like if you superheat it, blah blah, it lights up, kind of thing.
Because basically he gives his life to market, so they can find it.
And like you can see the pain on Cyborg's face. Like he doesn't even care about like trying to stop Steppenwolf at that point. Like he's just trying to make sure that his dad doesn't die, right? Like because Cyborg has come to this point where he's finally repaired his relationship with his dad. His dad has helped him.
They're getting closer.
They're getting closer, and obviously, like he has to realize that his mom is gone. Like they're the only family that they have left. Like it's only my dad.
Yeah.
And of course, his dad in the ultimate act of love, because like for the longest time, it's like his dad never prioritized, his son over his work kind of thing. Now he's literally using what he learned from his work in a bid to hopefully not only save his son in the future, but the entire world. And it's a beautiful...
It's this whole arc that's not there.
It's beautiful. And again, it goes back to what we were saying before about how Cyborg in a lot of ways is the heart and soul of this movie. Everything kind of revolves around him and what's going on. And again, Ray Fisher is acting his ass off in this scene. And the way like the dad dies, it was so like tragic.
It was brutal.
Like he's like literally just getting torn away atom by atom. It was like, oh my god.
But he doesn't even flinch. He's like, yo, whatever. I'll take it.
And I did think I agree with Ethan. It was a little funny that no one showed up on time, including the Flash. It was like, guys, like
this is why we have you, Flash.
Yeah.
Like, why you couldn't help.
Like no one could have helped him. Also, I thought it was a little weird because like clearly Cyborg's had it really bad. He just lost both of his parents. He no longer has his own body. Like dude has had a rough past couple of days. And then like I thought that someone would like kind of like comfort him, but I think it was just Barry that was like, how you doing? And then like he's like, my dad just died. And then like Barry is just like, oh, it's like Barry, like come on, you
it's like an awkward moment.
You could have said something.
But to be fair, it's like
he's rough, buddy.
What am I say?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. In fairness, it's like, what do you even say to someone at that point?
But yeah, they basically
it was so good. I actually really
after that,
I really love that part.
That's basically the end of part 5, I think. Yes. And then we move on to part 6, something darker.
Right. So, this is I'm pretty sure this is when we open like at the Kent farm or whatever, right? And like it's Lois and Superman talking, and like he gets him a polo shirt from the box, not polo, excuse me, plaid shirt from the box, and they walk in the field, and he's slowly remembering, if I'm not mistaken.
Something stuff like that. Yeah. It's around this point, yes. Yeah. Basically, where we see Superman come back. Before that, we have a moment because I think we cut back to like the Wayne, the Batman's HQ with all the heroes, because like Cyborg basically says that he's going to I think they're like they're because they're realizing that they can track it, and they're like, oh, it's in Russia.
Yep.
But it's like, well, what do we do? And Cyborg's like, I will fuse with it, and I'll break it from the inside. Right. Is the plan. Which is basically like he's basically saying that he's like a death wish.
Yeah.
And that he wants to he's willing to risk himself because like he just lost his dad and he doesn't really care at this point.
Right.
And I thought it was nice because again, like Wonder Woman and the rest of them trying to she kind of like reaches out to him and says like, you don't have to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Like well, we could try something else, but
there's a lot of really good character moments because it's kind of like the calm before the storm. They're all figuring out the plan, blah blah. Like one part that really sticks out to me where I think Barry's eating and he's talking with Aquaman, and Aquaman's like, "How's Barry doing?" or something like that. And Barry is like, "Oh well, like he's pretty shooken up, but he knows he has like a job to do," something to that effect. And then Barry's like shocked at the fact that Aquaman even asked the question. He's like, "I thought you didn't care." And then Aquaman's like, "I never said that." And I think it was like such a good moment because like obviously Aquaman's kind of been an asshole the entire time. Kind of an asshole. But like all of it is because he does care, kind of thing. Like if he didn't care, he wouldn't have even asked, sort of thing.
Yeah. There's also there's a weird line during all this where it's like because Cyborg sees the ship that they're trying to repair,
right?
And like Cyborg, he says like I think he fixes it or something.
He does. It was something like if you give me like a few minutes, like I can help her fly.
No, because like he fixes it and he says like it's weird. Like I forget. It's like a weird exchange between him and Batman.
It was very odd. Very odd.
Cyborg says like flight is in its nature.
Yeah.
And like Batman is like yours too, and it's like what? It's like Batman accidentally like said like they like yours too to the delivery guy.
Yeah.
It's like he fucked up.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It's like all the remember either when we go to the movies and the guy be like enjoy your movie and you'd be like yeah you too. And it's like wait.
That's like really what it feels like because like Cyborg gives him a look after it where he's like what?
Yeah.
And it's just like Batman's so awkward in this movie to everybody. Like he's just not cool in the movie.
It's so weird too because they put so much emphasis on him in Batman v Superman. He's like obviously supposed to be like the quote unquote cool character in that movie.
Not cool at all.
There is another scene too here where they talk about where Batman's like sitting on the chair and he's like, wait, I just remembered my vision where I had Barry Allen right in front of me. And it was like, I'm not really sure what we're trying to accomplish here besides recap what happened in the last movie and what might happen in future movies. But like, okay, sure, sort of thing. But I don't know. Do you guys have any other thoughts on like, I guess like the pre-planning before they get out to the final act?
Nope. No. There's a big scene.
What was that?
Well, there's a big scene because of the fucking like we were talking about with the farm.
Yep.
There's a big scene because Superman goes back to the ship.
I want to talk about that, but before we get there, does this third Skype call happen now or is that later? Where he's like, I've got all three boxes.
Probably, you're probably right. I think it does.
Yeah, because this is the part where he says I've got all three boxes, and then like he makes like a shield dome. I don't really know what the surrounding thing around his base is.
Well, he had the dome before this.
Oh, he did. Oh, that was at 2 boxes. I forgot.
Yeah, he starts like he basically says I have all three, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, gonna start the Unity now. Blah, blah.
It's like you say like they kind of keep doing the Skype call again and again.
Yeah,
but like no new information is coming at this point.
Yeah,
it's like boxes.
Like we don't need to see that you communicated with your boss that you got the job done, kind of thing.
Yeah, like there's no new information here.
Yeah,
but like basically like they all start heading over to the reactor.
Yep.
Steppenwolf tells his boss. But I think we cut back to Lewis and the farm and all that.
There's the family reunion with Martha.
Superman finally puts on a shirt and stuff.
Yeah. There's no Snapchat filter.
Superman realizes that he's like back. He's like talking again and stuff like that.
Yep.
And basically he flies back to the Kryptonian ship to like get back his stuff. I guess I
guess he needs the new suit and that's where he stores all the suits.
I felt kind of annoyed because like. They use that like is it All-Star Superman? They use that line from the comic because
you will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards kind of thing. It is from All-Star Superman. That
yeah, they use the monologue, which has one of the best Superman lines.
One of the
ever.
absolute. Well, also, I say this as a proud owner of Absolute All-Star Superman, the best Superman comic book out there. But sorry, keep going.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Because they say the lines of like, you know, Cal, like they will stumble, they will fall, but they will join you in the sun.
Yes.
They will join you in the sun.
Right.
And I feel like, fuck off, Superman. Like, you're not doing it. Like it's just like it's just annoying because like you can't have it both ways, you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Because like they're portraying him as this paragon of good, but he's not good in these movies.
Yes.
He's like I keep saying, he's like a beast.
Right.
Like he's like, it's like he doesn't know how to be virtuous yet. Like he has to be taught somehow.
I love this scene, but keep going. I'll say why. Keep going.
Yeah, like if they had portrayed him better and like as more of like as like inherently good, you know, without Lois and all that.
Right.
Like then this scene would feel better because it feels like yeah, Superman can lead them back and like
yes,
but like instead it's just like more patting him on the back.
Yeah,
it's like you can't have it both ways. Like either he's like a weird distant god or he's a paragon. I'm not sure.
Yeah. In isolation, I love this scene because like the narration is good, the music is swelling, right? Like there's a sense of destiny. He's not only getting a pep talk from Pa Kent, but also Jor-El, and like you get.
But it feels like it should be in his own fucking movie.
Yeah, it's
like why is it here?
Like it's incredible in isolation, but then not only when you think about it in the context of the movie, but also the context of the entire trilogy. The whole thing with his dad, Pa Kent, was the whole like, oh, well, maybe you don't have to be Superman. But like now he's saying like, you're going to go change the world. You should go do it. And it's like, wait a second. I thought you were the whole thing about like, maybe you shouldn't be like a savior. Maybe you should just do what you want kind of thing. Like it goes back to what Ethan said. Like we can't have this whole inconsistency and this whole like, you're a paragon of good, but also like you're a distant god who's like not sure if you should intervene kind of thing. Like you can't have it both ways. And I've seen online that some people are saying like, oh, no, you don't get it. This is Zack saying that this is his actual birth as a Superman we all know and love. And it's like, what? What?
Well, why now? Like, what changed in him? I don't know.
Because he got reborn.
Yeah, like nothing. He didn't go through any hardships besides dying. And I like, it's just.
I mean, Adam, dying is pretty hard.
Well, what I'm saying is like there's nothing that changed his ideology. There's nothing that changed his ideology is what I'm trying to say. Or at least we're not shown it. Like we're shown that just because he woke up, he was resurrected, he was like, oh yeah, I'm the paragon of good now. I know what I did.
It's weird because it's almost like his reasoning for becoming Superman now is because he was like, oh well, Lewis is okay. I guess I'll be good now.
Yeah.
Like is that your reason to be good? Is that what you needed to like be reminded? I don't know.
It's like he goes through an arc, but we don't see why that arc is completed. And
we show up at the end of it, and we're like, "What?"
And the beginning? I hate it because I love that scene in isolation so much. It's so well
like the
shot.
the scene makes sense because like what it does is that it could set up it could set up Superman as like we have the Justice League,
right?
But like Superman can lead the Justice League.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because he has the virtuousness in him. Right. Like that's his place in the super. He's not just a bruiser; he's the leader because like he's the good guy.
The music is so good, like the narration.
Oh yeah, but like instead it's just another moment of like Superman's good.
Yep.
Superman's good.
Yep.
Like reference to the comics. Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah. It was. I don't know. I know me and Ethan have been kind of dominating talking about this scene. How did you all feel about it? Like, did you guys feel like it hit you well or something else?
The farm scene?
No, like when he's in the ship.
When he's on the ship
and he's like getting his suit and he's like, all right, time to go back and like help them out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I just kind of like how you get to see like a couple of other suits.
Yeah,
like,
I thought that was cool.
Of, like, different
I agree.
Suits.
Yeah.
A little cameos. Yeah.
Yep.
I was just still annoyed by just the treatment of things.
Mm-hmm.
How he's gonna save the day. And...
It's hard. Like anytime Superman's on screen, you kind of check out a little bit.
Yeah, and like the thing is, like he's always portrayed as like the main character of like this series, but like we never actually get to a point where we feel like we like Superman or like where we're cheering
or we
for
know
him.
Even.
Like things just keep on happening, and we're told how people react, and it's like, but like I don't feel sad. Like I don't feel sad that Superman died. Like I don't really. I'm not really happy that Superman is alive again, besides the fact that he's just going to kick everyone's ass. Yeah. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Yeah.
It goes back to the power scaling thing, too.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways,
the final fight.
Yeah, let's get to the
that's
third act.
Essentially where
let's
get
to
the
third act. So they come in on their nice their new ship, the one that they've been building up the entire time.
Yeah, Batman gets a moment to kind of flex.
Yeah,
because he has this whole the whole sequence where he shoots his way in, and he's going all in.
Right.
He crash lands the fucking plane, and then he goes on his Batmobile and all this other stuff. And he's trying to fight all the parademons and blah, 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 blah.
One thing I do want to also say, too, is, like, in the lead up to this particularly, they kind of touch on, like, what's supposed to be, I guess, Bruce's arc. Because, right, remember, in Batman v Superman, he's, like, very cold and calculating. He's like, why are you going to go to war with Superman? It's like, if there's even a 1% chance, we need to take it as absolute certainty. That's why I'm going to kill him or whatever, right? But in this movie, so much of his motivation is like, well, how do you know that's going to work or whatever? Just like, because of faith, Alfred, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, like, you could see, like, the difference in ideology. And that goes on here, too, where, like, it's just like, how do you know this is going to work? And it's like, because I have faith, or like, why do you want to resurrect Superman? Because I have faith, kind of thing. And like, it's like supposed to be his arc, but then I also felt like this was also the part where he's supposed to fulfill his like guilt complex. Like, it almost felt like a suicide mission for him because he kept on, like,
I think that's kind of what
it was like implied, but at the same
time,
because
he gives that call to Barry where he's like, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. And it's almost like he's like not planning on like coming back. Like, just do what you need to do.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It was a little weird, but to what Ethan said, they have this is where like you could clearly say that they put a lot of money into this because goddamn, it's special effects everywhere. I want to say also it's so much easier to like watch and like see things because if you remember in the original cut, it had like this like gruesome, horrible red filter on everything. It was so ugly. But for here, I thought it was really good. And
it's everything's a bit clear.
Yeah, and to what you were saying before as well, Ethan, I feel like in the third act, there's a lot more like teamwork kind of thing. Like you see a lot more of the team kind of like for lack of a better phrase, fucking shit up together.
A little bit.
And I do like seeing that. There's that really cool team shot where like they're all like about to go through the building. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
You got me.
Here.
Yeah.
What is here?
You got me. This third act before we get to like the real
any general thoughts on the final battle.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, it started to all come together around that point. I mean, like you have the character developments. There's not much more to say.
Right.
They have it all together. It's just like, all right, now you have like the go in. That green color. It's there. Nothing really.
Yeah, I also like that they didn't have the. Do you guys remember the original cut? They had like that Russian family that for whatever reason.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Decided. For
completely gone.
Yeah,
thank God.
Like, why would a Russian family ever like? You know where we should live? Let's live next to the nuclear reactor that's been abandoned.
No, because they put that in obviously because like they had to cut out Flash's whole like time travel bit.
Yep.
So instead he had to do something else.
Yeah.
So instead they gave him this weird thing where it's like him learning to save people, I guess.
It was
but it's
so
like,
bad.
It really like infantilizes him because like he has like a much more important thing to do in this.
Yes.
Because he does the whole thing. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were saying before about how the original cut just butchers all the character arcs and the character work compared to what we see here in the Snyder cut. Before the one thing I'll mention before I throw the floor to all of you, the thing that sucks here is that Batman, like, all he does is take someone's gun and like just start shooting people once the Batmobile is done. And it goes back to what we were saying before. It's like Batman is so lame in these movies, man. In this movie, he's so like he doesn't do anything cool.
The lamest shot of the movie is in this because like they attack the Batmobile and like he flies out on his little bat chair. It looks so stupid. Because he has like an escape chair. He's like, it's like all right. Like it's just like it looks silly.
Yeah. How'd you? Awesome. Were you gonna say something about the third act battle?
I was gonna ask about the Russian family.
Oh,
just
they died in this one.
Such an interesting choice for Joss and all of them to have that be an addition to the movie.
Yeah.
What was missing in his eyes that he felt like he needed to?
I think Joss's goals were to put like more grounding and like more like day-to-day people.
Yeah, more quote unquote heroic things, right? AKA saving people, blah blah.
Let more heroic, less gods. You know what?
Okay.
So yeah, he adds that because like I think because they obviously they took out the big time travel scene for some fucking reason. I don't know why.
I don't know why. Oh my god.
I really don't know why because they were because in the original like they do that stupid fucking thing where like Superman and Cyborg tear it apart and then they're like that really hurt, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was the worst fucking thing. And this is like a very like dire, like the situation is much more dire in this one,
right?
Because basically the Flash has to get to light speed, or like
he has to go the fastest that he's ever been. Like he says, like I've never gone that fast before, but I think if I do, that will give me the necessary charge, kind of thing. Blah blah.
Because Victor has to like log into it, and like they both have to like sync up and do this together to like basically tear apart the mother boxes.
Which again,
and it's quite cool.
The teamwork part. Yep.
Yeah, it's quite cool because like basically like just to kind of play this scene out, like what happens is that fucking it's really quite interesting what happens because Flash gets shot,
right,
basically,
somehow,
and he doesn't get. Yeah, I know, but it's weird, right? How the guy just like he just manages to like 1 in a million shoots him, but whatever. He gets shot, and basically because of that, he misses the chance to power up the mother box.
Right.
And Cyborg is like Barry, help, Barry, and then he's like, it's too late, and they all die.
They actually fail. They fail.
Because Darkseid like looks at them and like the mother box is like they activate and they all get nuked essentially. But instead, what happens is that like Barry like he's like, oh crap, so he just starts going really really fast.
Yeah.
And he basically like we saw with the mother box earlier, he's able to once he passes light speed, he's able to go back in time. So he reverses the clock back. And like it's like this whole arc where he's like, make your own future.
Yes.
Like it's the culmination of like you're gonna do great things, Barry.
I'm gonna do
like,
what
it's
you
like
said,
really,
Dad.
Like, Barry,
I'm one
like,
of
this
the best.
is your moment. Like, you can save this. And like it's like it's huge. It's the music swelling. Barry's running as fast as he can.
Oh my god!
And like it's amazing visually because he's like running towards the explosion and he's like slowly erasing it as he's getting close to it. And like. And it's just all not there in the theatrical cut. But like he basically
for
like
some reason.
He does it and he's able to go back in time to the point before it explodes and he charges up Cyborg. He's able to like
interface with the
go in and actually interface with it.
Before we get to the whole what happens when he's inside the mother box, did Superman come in before the Flash did the whole reverse time thing? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
because Superman dies as well, which is weird.
Yeah, which is crazy because you would think that as soon as Superman is there, it's like, all right, well, we won, kind of thing.
No, he dies too.
Yeah,
they all die.
It was funny. Yeah. So, but before I do want to say before we get into the Cyborg thing, and of course, I really want to let other people chime in here. I did like seeing Wonder Woman as well as Aquaman both fight Steppenwolf at the same time and like really go toe to toe. I thought that was really good and showed obviously they were going to struggle because of course they're going to struggle. They have to have Superman save them, kind of thing. But I do think it was well done. Like I think the choreography was good. And was this the part where like Steppenwolf's eyes got blue for some reason? Like even more blue. I don't know if he got powered up. I was unclear as to why that happened.
He had some Gatorade.
Yeah. He got juiced, you know. But then Superman shows up and like tosses him around like a rag doll. My God. I'm glad that they took out the Joss Whedon dialogue, or who's like, "Excuse me, ma'am, is this man bothering you?" It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so happy they took that out.
Did they? In the original? Did he like? Because what I liked in this was like I noticed he was remarking a lot about the Amazons when he was fighting Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it was because he was like a psychological warfare kind of thing.
And I thought it was kind of fitting because like in this we know that Steppenwolf wants to go back to his family.
Right.
Like that's his whole thing.
Yeah. Yes.
And so he's criticizing Wonder Woman for leaving hers essentially. Because he's saying like you know if you had been there I wouldn't have killed so many. You know what I mean? And like I thought it was it was like a good jab from him. I thought it was interesting.
I agree. And
I don't remember if those remarks were in the original or not.
No, I don't think they were at all.
Okay.
He just kept talking about mother and just
mother.
Mother. Now, before we talk about what happens when Cyborg goes in, does anyone else have anything they want to say about that general third act and kind of like what happened there?
Superman showing up.
I don't remember Superman dying.
Time travel.
Yeah, Superman shows up very early, actually.
Yeah.
And he died?
Well, everyone dies. Everyone dies once the Unity happens, including Superman.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The one thing I can appreciate the most is that like Wonder Woman and Aquaman, they coincide well together. In the first movie,
yes,
you had Aquaman sitting on the lasso talking the truth,
yeah.
and it just seemed so forced. But you know, the more they worked together, the more they respected each other's powers, and it just seemed so fitting. Still, such a mutual relationship between them.
Yeah.
Team up and fight.
Yeah.
I think there could have been more between them, but yeah, it was good. Because I mean, because it kind of ends with her saving Aquaman.
Yeah.
Because he like rushes into the rubble.
Yeah, yeah. And again, goes back to the whole teamwork aspect and
Atlantean. Imagine.
Yeah, and Ethan said it perfectly, but I have to say that whole sequence of the Flash reversing time, that's actually one of the best sequences and climaxes of any superhero movie I've ever seen. Like
it's really good.
And like sure, it could be cliche because like I think it was Superman 2 or whatever, he just goes around the Earth to reverse time. But in this one, it's so well done, both from a visual but also from a narrative standpoint. It's so well done.
They don't do time travel in a weird way. They're like, he can reverse it. It takes a lot of effort to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not even like
it's like that culmination to go back a couple seconds.
Yeah. He's only going back a couple seconds, right? He's not trying to like change the past and go back. No, he is just trying to.
And I think
we're not at Flashpoint yet, boys.
Yeah, it's good because I think it explains to the general audience what the Speed Force is in like a subtle way.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people think, oh, well, the Flash just goes fast. He doesn't just go fast.
Yeah.
Like he can he can manipulate space time.
Yeah. He breaks the laws of physics as we know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Superman is just as fast as him. Flash is different because he can go back in time and fuck shit up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Superman could not have access. Yeah. Superman doesn't have access to the Speed Force, whereas Barry does. Or I suppose Flash in general. Okay, so Darren, were you gonna say something, or Austin? Sorry, Matt.
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Darren?
Actually, one last thing.
Yes.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Superman comes back, right? Superman comes back. He's beating the crap out of Steppenwolf. He's really violent.
He was brutal.
Oh my god,
yeah.
Because he cuts off his horn with his eyes.
Oh shit.
Yeah, with his heat vision.
And not only that,
it's
it's weird because I feel like when you have a hero on screen, you don't show them attacking somebody who's already down.
Yeah.
But he was he's beating the shit out of him. Like he was on the like he was done. Like he was done, but he was just like and because when the unity happens, he's he's in the middle of still beating the crap out of him, I think.
I'm pretty sure he uses his frost breath to destroy the axe too. Like he was just toying with him, man.
Steppenwolf really gets fucked over in the end because he just they really fucking kill him.
Yeah, no, there is no question as to whether or not Steppenwolf is dead.
Gruesome.
It is not implied. It is explicit.
Sends his head through the portal.
What was that?
The one thing I can appreciate the most about the Flash is like when he got shot and he had to go back around to gain speed again.
Yeah.
The one thing I always think about is his running form.
Oh yeah, his running form. Yeah.
He always looks. Yeah, he's just trying to grab something. It's like a true mark of a hero that he has to rise to the occasion. He has to just push his limits rather than doing something different physically. He really just mentally opened up and was just like, my team needs me.
Yeah.
Here I go.
And that's the whole arc of the movie, right? He says that he needs friends. He says that he needs to be his father's encouraging him to be something more. And what more can you be than saving the literal world and reversing time, breaking physics and all that? So it was incredible stuff. And the one thing I want to touch on, because Ethan just brought it up too, the fact that Superman was so brutal, and it's such and again, it goes back to we're supposed to feel so hopeful that he's the paragon of good. But then he's brutally about to kill him.
Beating the shit out of some dude.
Yeah. It's so
gonna do that.
It's so weird. So weird. But okay, so let's talk about one of the best parts of the movie is when Cyborg interfaces with a mother box. So he goes inside of it. And then it turns into a dreamscape almost, right? Where he's no longer, dressed up in the cyborg outfit, right? He's in a human form. He has his varsity jacket on.
Yeah.
Shout out to Under Armour. Trust me, I saw it. It was not subtle.
Yeah.
And
they mentioned earlier that once you're in there, the mother box will try to show you things.
Yeah.
To try to throw you off.
Yeah. So he sees his entire family, including himself. Right, he sees his mother, he sees his father.
Human again.
Right. And I don't remember the exact dialogue. Hey guys, so unfortunately, while we were recording the podcast, the file was so large that I ran out of space on my hard drive. So that's why you just heard that it got cut off. Originally, when we were recording, I actually got the notification that I had no more disk space, and we stopped it immediately, and then switched to another hard drive on my computer to record the rest of the podcast, which you'll hear a second cut after this. However, upon going back into the editing room and seeing it, when we stopped was far after what was actually recorded and actually put onto my computer. So we're missing a good chunk of the actual podcast, the review for this episode, mostly centered around Cyborg going into the mother box, as well as some of the kind of scenes that happen after that, like, Steppenwolf getting killed. So I'll just quickly recap because we were all in general agreement about our thoughts on those scenes. So basically, we see that Cyborg goes into the mother box, and this is where we see him talk to his parents, including himself, in human form. And we all agreed that this was a great scene for multiple reasons, but one of them being that it completes Cyborg's arc in this movie, right? Cyborg had been going through this thing where he had to not only accept himself, but also mend his relationship with his parents, accept that he wasn't alone, that he was still whole, that he's still, a person and worthy kind of thing. And that was something that he had to go through in the movie. In fact, they kind of outright say it that, hey, Victor, you don't have to be alone anymore. You can be whole, blah, 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 blah. And by having Cyborg actually go out there and refute this statement and therefore accept it in himself, settle that internal conflict, having that actually be the solution to the film, right? This is actually what separates the mother box, is incredible, right? Because the solution is actually him settling that internal conflict and completing his arc. And by extension, that's what saves the world, right? But that's the byproduct, right? The more important thing is the character work. And it's so amazing to see a film weave that character work into its narrative and the climax of that narrative, right? And we see that through The Flash and through Cyborg, and that's something that's so impressive. And we were all in agreement about how awesome and great it was to see that. Now, after this happens, they separate the Unity, the mother boxes fall on the ground, all that jazz, and they decide to start finishing off Steppenwolf, and they do a crazy combo attack, which unfortunately you won't hear Jake's play-by-play commentary, but basically Aquaman stabs him, and then Superman punches him, and then of course as he's flying through the portal to Apocalypse, where Darkseid and Desaad and many others are watching, you hear Wonder Woman jump up, and then of course her music starts playing again, because God, you just have to always play it when she's doing something, apparently. And she slices his head off, which in turn goes through the portal onto Apocalypse as the portal closes. Now, it's a little weird, and we discussed this during the podcast. It's a little strange because if the head can go through, technically that means that Darkseid and everyone else could have gone through the portal themselves too. So I don't really know why they didn't go through. Maybe they felt like the timing was weird. We were a little confused on that. But it was still good. And the other aspect of it is too, I think it was Matt might have made the joke that Darkseid was like, yeah, I didn't like him anyway, kind of thing, that he was happy that Steppenwolf died. So we were all pretty good on that. And from there is when we actually talked about me running out of disk space, and we resumed the podcast, going from that scene onward, right, where Darkseid talks about going to invade Earth after the failure of Steppenwolf. So that's it for this. We'll cut to the second recorded thing here. Thanks for understanding, guys. Peace. So, the Darkseid decides he's going to come now. I don't know why he didn't decide to come earlier, but now he decides he's going to assault Earth to get the anti-life equation. And then afterwards, they all decide to pose together instead of leaving. On top of the reactor. It was a good shot. I'll give him that. Then they hop on the ship and kind of go their separate ways. Now, there's a couple other things that happen. Like, I'm pretty sure it's implied that they're going to start the Hall of Justice.
Yep.
And then after that, what's it called? The Batman or Bruce Wayne buys the bank to help.
He's
Superman's
power.
Superman's yes, he used his power.
He
Superman
gets
to help buy back the Kent farm for Superman's mom. And then I think what's it called? Barry gets an internship at the crime lab, which helps him get on the track to saving his father. And his dad is super happy to see him because
is the crime lab related to like Wayne or like the Gotham stuff?
I don't think so because
did he set him up? Or
traditionally
no?
from the comics, he's in a different city than like Wayne than like Gotham City, but it's never really told which city he's in. So I'm not 100% on that.
Mm-hmm. Bruce is such a good manager.
Yeah, he's a great manager. He funds the entire team.
And then we get basically. I feel like for me, the quality drops off a cliff very quickly.
Yes,
because we see Lex Luthor.
Well, okay. So, so just to recap. So Victor is inspired by his message from his father. So remember, because he crushed the recorder, right? When it got to the part where he's like, well, now let me speak to you as your father. So I guess he has like technokinesis because he reconstructs the recorder.
He's like the mother
right? Yeah,
we haven't seen that before. You're right.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's a fine power. So anyway, so heartfelt message from his father, telling him about how much he loves him and all that other stuff. Kind of just bookends his arc and how he feels about his dad and his family. Arthur says bye to Mera or something, and his mentor Velko because he says he has to go see his dad, which I guess sets up Aquaman. And Superman goes back to being a reporter. At the Daily Bugle.
His fucking shirt.
I don't know how like they explained the fact that Clark his alter ego vanished for so long. It's like fine. He just shows up one day. Whatever. Anyway,
it's fine.
Anyway,
I'm not Clark Kent.
I just want to say
Mark Clint.
This movie has Lord of the Rings: Return of the King beat for like 5 different endings. So we get to Arkham Asylum and Lex Luthor is there, and then
is he Adam?
But then he's not there. Some imposter's there, and then what's it called? Deathstroke visits Luthor like on his yacht, and he tells Deathstroke what Batman's secret identity is, which I guess was supposed to set up Ben Affleck's Batman movie, which is never happening. But that was, I believe, in the Whedon cut. I believe that was there. And then Superman has another nightmare involving Victor. Like so many...
Batman.
Oh, all right. So well, let's talk about the nightmare thing.
Injustice.
Yeah, where it's the post-apocalyptic.
It's Injustice.
World. Yeah, it's Injustice.
Wait, can I ask? Do you guys like the Lex Luthor? Can anybody vouch?
No.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Anybody like Eisenberg?
Nobody. No. I don't.
We haven't even seen him be bald yet, so we got to give him a chance.
He's bald.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the right head to be Luthor. Like,
no, he doesn't.
Like he looks like me. Not imposing at all. Then his performance is just so like try hardy. Like he's trying to sound smart, but he's not that smart.
Right. Yeah.
But but the thing is like Adam was about to say. We go into this nightmare world, but we don't know that it's a nightmare yet. Yeah, like it just cuts. It just cuts.
All we know is that it's like somewhat visually similar to like the first like vision that Cyborg had, but that's literally it. Like there's no explanation.
We're on like a ruined highway outside of a city.
Like
Mad Max.
There's like a desert.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
Batman has a gun.
Yeah, so Batman has a gun. He's with a team of people, including Cyborg, Flash, Mera, who has like a different accent for some reason. I don't know what's going on there.
He's also got like a bucket of water just because, it's a desert.
Yeah.
Was Deathstroke there?
Deathstroke was there, and there was also the Joker.
We just saw it. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, the Joker was there too, and like
we see that he's there. Yeah.
We see that he's there, and like I don't. It was so weird, and
it's fan fiction.
It's like
it is fanfic,
and like
pure fanfic.
The thing is too, you could so clearly tell that the Joker, like whoever plays him, I forget his name, and Jared Leto and Ben Affleck clearly weren't filmed on the same day because they never share a shot. So it clearly shows that like they just keep on going back and forth. I was like, guys, like,
you're right.
What is even
I thought that was on
here?
Purpose. I thought it was on purpose. So.
Yeah, and like they had this conversation, and like I still don't like Jared Leto's Joker, and it was just like, what are we doing here?
He does that fucking like he's trying to do like a different kind of laugh.
Yeah,
but it's not a very good laugh. It's like a weird like.
It felt like he was trying to like combine both Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
and it was like, what, Jared? Like, what are you doing here, bro?
It's not. It's such a strange because it throws so much at us so quickly.
Yeah,
right? Because it's trying to set up the obviously like the evil Superman plot.
Yeah,
because like they it's like, oh, Lois is dead, somehow.
Yeah.
We're not quite sure how, but
something
somehow
happens
it's
where
Batman's
Superman.
fault.
No,
something like Batman and Joker needs to be here for some reason.
yeah, something about Superman basically like succumbs to the anti-life equation after Lois dies. And
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what's implied is what happened.
No, but I didn't get that at all.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
They never say
I thought
it.
he just turned evil, but that makes a lot more. He succumbs to it. Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
I guess because he was so vulnerable or something. Like, do you remember that one
obviously,
shot
he's
where
like-
he was holding like the skeleton, which is in the kind of shot from Final Crisis, but not.
You're right, because they show that shot where he touches him.
Yeah, where Darkseid touches him. Correct.
Yeah,
But-
you're right.
but, like,
Okay, so that's what was happening.
But again, it's not communicated. It's like we're thrown an entire prologue to a different movie.
To a different fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like, where are we?
Yeah.
It's very strange. Yeah.
Yeah, and the funny part is like Batman and Joker start having this argument in the middle of the highway, and everyone's like, dude, the Superman's gonna find us. Why are we having this argument right now? Can we like move?
And then Superman does find them.
And then of course.
That's where we like cut and like Batman wakes up.
So then we cut to that, and then Batman wakes up. Literally looks like he just rolled out of
Were
bed.
you gonna say something, Jake?
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, like, why would you ever bring Joker on your team?
Yeah.
Ever? Like,
Because clearly, like they need him for something. They're setting him up because like they need him for something. We're not sure why.
Yeah.
Like he's obviously like I think because I feel like in the original Injustice, wasn't it that Joker killed Lois? Like wasn't it?
Yes.
Like something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the same.
Wait.
Like, they're
Well, in Injustice, Joker dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he
very immedientally.
Yeah.
He kills it, obviously, and he goes nuts after.
It was also weird too because like Mara's like, "What do you know about losing people, Batman?" It's like, what? Like the entire basis of his character.
The one person.
Yeah. It's like what?
I don't know. Fucking Mara. I don't know. Mara's is there because we find out so many people are dead, right? Like
Aquaman
apparently
died.
Arthur's dead.
Yeah.
Robin is dead. Lois is dead. Harley's dead.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Harley's
Yeah.
dead.
There's no Green Lantern, and it was like I don't know.
Everybody's dead.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay.
Very weird.
It's like it kind of takes to wind out your sails after the movie because it's like they saved the world, but apparently everything's just gonna turn to shit anyway.
Yeah, because it shares the same visual style as all the visions that Batman has been seeing and supposedly he wants to prevent, right? It's the whole thing where Barry's like, Lois is the key or something like that. I don't know, man. It felt so out of place and like just random. I don't know, man.
It's a little too much back. It's a little too much.
Yeah, it was weird. And then after that, we get the scene where Martian Manhunter shows up at Batman's
He's
house,
like,
like random morning. He's like, "Yes, hello," and literally Batman's like, "Wait, like, so who are you?"
Yeah. So wait, can anybody like Ben Affleck looks so fucking different, and he sounds different in that scene.
So
he looks so
from what I understand, all the stuff in the epilogue, so there's that dream sequence and also this one.
That was shot after.
That was shot after. That was the only stuff that was actually.
He looks so fucking different.
Yeah, he looks so different. And like, it was so funny too. He's like, "Who are you again?" And then like Martian Manhunter's like, "Yes, so I am, John Jones." And then like Batman's like, "Who?" He's like, "I've been here forever," or something like that. Like, and some may call me the Martian Manhunter. And it's like, so if you ever need anything, I'm here. And it was like, oh, it's such an odd scene. I don't know.
Because even in the scene, like Batman's like, okay, because like it's almost like Batman expecting something else.
Yeah.
He's expecting like, an Uber driver or something, or an Uber Eats guy to show up with his food. It's like, hi, you're here.
I don't know. It was. How'd you guys feel? Like, did you guys think it was a good? I just stuck out like a sore thumb to me.
I was this brings me back to the whole. I thought this movie was kind of like slapdash together. I didn't know Zack Snyder literally wanted 4 different endings in his movie.
Yeah,
he wanted all the extra stuff. Yeah,
he wanted extra stuff. I mean, it was cool. It just certainly distracts from the project overall.
I feel like the epilogue stuff is him like flexing once he got the Zack cut.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like Adam said, that stuff was shot mostly after.
Yep.
Like all the epilogue stuff.
Yeah. And the thing is too, from what I understand, this is the one part where he didn't get what he wanted. Apparently, he didn't want to be Martian Manhunter. Apparently, he wanted to be John Stewart Green Lantern. But for some reason, in which case it would make sense, kind of thing, like a bit more at the very least. But apparently the studio said no. I don't know why, but they said no. And apparently he threatened to leave the project because of it, but he decided that one change. Okay. He decided that one change wasn't enough to get him to go away. Okay. So I don't know. Yeah. So it had like 5 different endings. How'd you guys feel about the epilogue? It was kind of weird.
It was weird out of everything from the movie.
Yeah.
And The reason that it makes it so weird is, all right, guys, the past 4 hours, that whole world building, that's not canon. So
it kind of just says that like it kind of just like spoils the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because you're like, it's like yeah they know all the stuff, and then it's like oh well don't worry because it's just all gonna come crashing down.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just for fun. I'm glad it wasn't part 7 where it was just like a mishmash.
Yeah.
Different scenes.
Yeah.
Like
Imagine.
like the first movie, the injustice scene, like it's cool to see that dynamic in there. It's like hinting at like maybe a different movie, but it's not like smack dab in the middle of the movie where it was just like in the first movie, everything was flowing, and then all of a sudden we're in injustice. It's a whole different scene. But just for fun, just throwing everything at the end. Maybe it's like, I see it as like bloopers.
Darren, that's a great way of looking at it.
I don't think Zach would say that it's bloopers.
there's a part of me that wonders if he did that to like bait the fans and be like, hey
that's
guys, if you keep on supporting and make demands, maybe they'll let me make the rest of my stuff. Like
he wants to try and leave the door open.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah. I don't know. Anything else you guys want to say about the epilogue, Jake or Austin or Matt?
And like I said, it just kind of ruins it knowing that Warner Brothers isn't counting this movie as canon.
Right.
So it definitely feels like what you're saying, Adam, where like Zack Snyder's like, hey guys, like please, like keep demanding me to make the movie so we can keep doing this cool shit.
Yeah.
A little weird.
It is the future of the DC universe is like weird. I don't know what they're gonna do.
And that's sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, go ahead. Finish.
That's my biggest complaint as of right now, because like I know that they're trying to do like multiple timelines and multiple universes, but as of right now, it's like what part of this is it? Because like Superman was in Shazam, but is it Henry Cavill Superman, and now he's like gone again, and now they're gonna reboot Superman.
Yeah.
And it's like, what timeline does Wonder Woman take place on? Like I heard that Cyborg is now out because he was demanding that they use the Zack Snyder.
There's a whole bunch of things with Ray Fisher, and like he used like Warner Brothers and DC being racist. There's a whole bunch of like that's an entirely different thing.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
So it's like that's my biggest complaint. There's no like solid like you need. Like regardless if you want to do multiple timelines and multiple universes, you need a solid like universe to ground everything.
Right.
Because I know that the Batman's taking part on Earth.
Yeah.
Which not 2.
It's basically a different Earth kind of thing.
Earth 7.
What are you gonna say, Austin?
You need the here is like R616 kind of thing.
Right.
Here's like the base.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
The idea of doing different timelines in a cinematic universe just sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's no way you could do that. Like,
especially as the first go around. It's one thing for Marvel to be like, all right, new timeline now.
Yeah, but like to like open up with that, it's like hard to keep track.
Yeah. What I was gonna say was I wonder if I was thinking about how Injustice would work, and this portrayal of Superman, I guess maybe it'd make it more believable for him to go rogue.
Yeah.
With this beastly like needs guidance very far from Earth.
He always seems like he's about to go evil anyway. So
maybe. I mean, I don't know.
I guess so.
I don't know how well it would go, but it certainly might be a little bit more.
I don't know. It's too early.
Yeah.
Too early.
It's way too early. I don't want them to go that route. I think
it's too early, man.
I want baseline. I don't need the cool offshoot.
Yeah. Jake, what do you think, man, about these series of epilogues that you finished during the review?
I watched them again during. What the heck happened?
This is fresh impressions.
They just, it's kind of like what you said. They're like little. I like the way Darren put it. They're just like little fun, like, ooh, what if? Like, it's all fan fiction, anyways, at this point.
Basically, yeah.
I like the after credits scene,
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing of like like the whole like post-apocalypse sequence was still very very strange. I know they kind of introduced it in the real movie, and that was weird too.
Sure.
I just it feels like a setup for a movie, but it also got me thinking. Like you guys are saying, like you can't have bad Superman until you like set up good Superman. But like, do you think maybe we're just in a time where people are like, I'm done with Superman, like he's boring, whatever. Like people are for bad Superman.
I feel like we could get an entire different discussion about that.
No,
I agree with
I'm so fucking pissed.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Oh my god.
The fucking death of fucking optimism is exhausting. I'm sick of these fucking doomers. This is what we need, Superman, Jake.
Yeah.
Instead we get another fucking like, yep, he'll turn bad. Like, no, you can say so much more, but instead it's like, oh, he has to turn bad.
I agree with Ethan. That's all I'll say, because that we could have an entire discussion about that.
I don't even like Superman that much, but I'm so annoyed by how they portray it all the time.
I think I don't want to turn this entire discussion. I think what annoys me is that clearly they know how to do it well, because like I look at the DCAU, what we grew up with, and how so well done it was.
Oh yeah, that's so great.
And it's like, why couldn't, like, you guys literally did it before? Like you can't just like put that on a bigger scale. Like, come on. But regardless, so before we get into our final ratings, the final thoughts, there's a couple things I want to touch on and just like put out some questions out there. One, how'd you guys feel about the 4:3 aspect ratio?
Okay with it.
Didn't notice it really.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it goes away after a while.
Yeah,
it's a kind of weird. It's just a Zach thing, but like it didn't stop me.
Yeah, it was definitely like an odd choice. I wouldn't want every movie to be in 4:3. I think from what I hear, it's because he wanted the heroes to take up more of the frame again to show them how like godlike they are. But I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the other like fun weird fact I just wanted to tell you is that apparently. Do you remember that one scene where Lois is in bed and then she looks in her drawer and there's a pregnancy test there?
Yeah, the pregnancy test.
Yes.
So apparently what Zach wanted to set up, right, was that during the death of Superman, Bruce and Lois had an affair.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
No, I kid you not. I kid you not.
I don't believe you.
I kid you not. I'll find you a source after this.
Do that.
I kid you not.
That is not true.
I kid you not, brother. I will show you the quote.
That is mental.
I will show you the quote.
What does he want out of this universe?
I will show you the quote.
It's his fan fiction.
That man could go hang with Diana. Why has he got to go with?
Literally, yeah.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. So that's what apparently he was setting up, so that when Superman comes back, it's all weird because like Lois is pregnant, but who's the father? And then like the
shut the fuck up.
Oh no.
And then
shut the fuck up.
I'm telling you, bro.
They don't know each other. What?
I guess because Bruce felt so guilty that he killed Superman.
So he fucks his wife.
So he's been comforting her. I don't know, bro. It was mental, brother. It's mental. I can't.
That's not Zach.
I can't.
There's no way that I don't believe it.
I can't.
I want to hear it from Zach.
I couldn't believe it until I heard it from his mouth, man.
Here's the thing, though, is that it wasn't actually Batman. It was also Martian Man.
That's it. I see.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So apparently that was supposed to happen in his plan for his 5-film saga. Whatever.
Okay, maybe it's good that he didn't have.
Yeah, maybe it's good. All right. Any last technical things you guys want to touch on, whether it be cinematography, score, or soundtrack, acting, direction? Is there anything that struck you that you feel like you really want to call out?
You
cool.
mentioned the score.
Yeah.
And it was better in this version.
Lamentation music.
Mm-hmm.
So many lamenting.
Anciently.
But I did like it more.
Right.
Okay.
I thought the cinematography is always good, but Zach always does good work. I think he knows how to frame things in an interesting way at the very least.
Well, he sure loves his upshots of fucking heroes standing there.
He loves his upshots. He loves his slow
motion. I'm not
motion.
much of a fan.
He loves his slow motion. My God.
Oh, so much slow motion.
It was everywhere.
It wasn't excessive like in other movies of his, though. I mean, he got it all out of his system with the Flash.
Yeah, I guess so. You can focus it there.
Well, that's actually like part of the issue is that because like it's supposed to be slow for the Flash, it makes all the other slow motion not seem as special. But that's the entire thing. Another thing.
I think that helps him though.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up. So let's get into our final ratings and closing thoughts.
Yeah.
We'll start with Jake. We'll go down the line. What you think? Rating and final thoughts.
Your final soliloquy.
I enjoyed the parts that were added. I enjoyed the characterizations that were added. And I really do think that they fleshed out the film a lot, but it was so long.
Yes.
It was unnecessarily long. Like there was I was like, I appreciate what you're doing.
You barely finished. You didn't even finish.
I finished as we were doing it. I don't know what kind of rating. I enjoyed it more. It's more than two mother boxes.
It's important to say.
Yeah, are you going by mother boxes again?
I can't give it the third mother box. That's a little.
Of course, that's 100. That's too much.
I'll throw in Steppenwolf's head. And
2 mother boxes and Steppenwolf's head. That's pretty good.
2 mother boxes, Steppenwolf's head, and do we have any other MacGuffins in that bottle that Aquaman threw into the sea?
Self-pollution.
All right.
It was better, but way too long.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Totally fair. Darren?
If I gave it a 7 last time, I'll give it an 8 this time. I wish it was the version we saw first.
Yeah, right? Okay.
I wish it was, we always talked in the first podcast around the character development just has so many plot holes, and more so now with the 4 hours, that's a lot of time well spent. Also, like, we don't touch upon this a lot, but with the movie theaters down and like COVID going on and this movie being 4 hours, like I just think to myself, if I sat in a movie theater for 4 hours, I get like a good 2-hour nap. Like, I would have fell asleep. I would have lost interest at some point. But the way, like, the first thing I said coming into this podcast was I treated it like a Netflix series. When like part 2 was there, I was like, all right, let me go to bed. Let me finish this up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
it probably would have helped.
Definitely the way to go about it. Definitely.
Yeah, it's a good little like way to just like look at it, because that's like the psychology behind things. Like when people sit down and they can binge a whole series for like 8 hours on their day off, but like there's breaks in between. You can go up, you can use the bathroom, you can cook some food and whatnot. And that's how I treated it. And unlike like a 2-hour movie where you just have to sit there all the way through and pay attention, and at some point you lose interest. But anyways, like it was a lot more wholesome. I enjoyed the film, and there were just times where it's just like, all right, this is like another rendition of the movie. So it's like, think of it like this: going into college, you do your final and you don't do as great, and then the professor says, right, so here's your chance to make it up on your very last day of class.
Yes.
It's like, all right, I might as well go.
So you go way overboard.
Yeah. And then, like, you figure out what you did wrong the first time, and you go in, and then you get a better grade. That's how I feel about this movie. So from a 7 to an 8, that's, it's well deserved.
That's a good analogy. Right. That's a really good analogy. Shout outs to you, Darren.
Yeah. That is an interesting question. Like, if we could just take it, because I do wonder, do you guys think he could have released all of it?
No.
Like, what do you think would have happened? Like, would it have played?
It definitely would have been a 4-hour movie. There's no way. Never
some middle ground would be
achieved. Do you think he could have, like, do you think they could have gotten away with it? Like a 4-hour movie in theater?
No. I don't. There's no way. No way.
I don't think so either, but it tickles me. The idea of
I think we might have seen a 2.5-hour cut with the extras on the Blu-ray. That's what I think would happen.
Okay.
But they could release it into 2 parts, though.
They could. They could milk that money.
And you know it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Austin, you have the floor, my friend.
I was surprised that I gave this the theatrical cut a 5 out of 10. That's that's pretty low.
I mean, theatrical cut is a vastly different movie.
It is, because it was just a lot of times I'm trying to remember my reaction. It was probably a lot of frustration with what could have been in the theatrical cut, but some of that was hit here. This was a better movie overall for sure. Did it have to be so long? No, probably not. I didn't know, because I had asked if this was just sort of a slapdash thing, but this is literally what he wanted to release, and that kind of brings it down for me. I thought this is a lot. I gave it a 5, so I'm gonna say I don't know if I want to give it a 7. I might give it can I give it a 6.5?
Okay.
Austin, you can give whatever you want, man. Whatever
you know what? Then I'll 11 out of 5.
So for you, like, so what you're saying, Austin, is that for you, like, all the extra stuff that's been added, like, for you, that brings it down?
No, it more often than not elevates it for sure. I gave it a 5. I'm looking to get it possibly a 7. You know.
Okay.
It all elevates it for sure. There was a lot of times in the theatrical cut, I wanted more, or I looked at something and said that could have been great, but they decided to go for a comedic effect, or they held back in some way. And that was certainly not an issue here. Like I mean, the villain was so much more imposing. Definitely. He got to use his axe. We had much more gravitas all around. Right. So it was a better movie. It was something that if I walked away from this the first time around rather than the theatrical cut, I would have said, okay, I'm very excited to see where DC goes from here. Right. You know?
Right.
So I'm gonna go 6.5. 6.5. You know, it was fun. It was fun in its own way.
All right.
Ooh, there it is.
Okay. All right, Matt. You are the biggest DC fan here. I'm excited to hear your final thoughts.
So going into this movie, if every scene that they added was the women smelling Arthur's shirt and singing, I could like sit there and be like, okay, that was a pointless scene. You know, like we didn't need it in the final cut.
Yep.
But seeing some of the scenes of, you know, Barry's full arc, Cyborg's full arc, and seeing some of those scenes and being there like, why? Like, there is nothing wrong with this scene to make it be like, that's useless. Other than what Austin was saying, you know, changing it so Joss Whedon can put in his humor.
Yeah.
Or, you know, oh, we can't add that because it'll make the runtime longer, which, you know, Endgame really opened like a 3-hour. Like, I don't think a 4-hour movie could have been released pre-Endgame.
Right.
That's true.
Post Endgame, anything's possible now, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe. But...
So, I'm giving it a solid. Also, granted, I took Darren's approach, and I didn't, like, if I had to sit here and watch it for 4 hours straight, I would be kind of sore.
I don't recommend it. As someone who did it twice, I don't recommend it.
I definitely took my time to digest it. I'm giving it a solid 9 out of 10. Like, it added so much. Okay. It added everything. I wanted more Flash. I got more Flash. I wanted more Cyborg. I got more Cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sure, like, yeah, of course, you know, Batman's being useless. But, like, even those few scenes of Batman being useless, or, like, freaking no more Snapchat filter, whatever, like, it's finally a DC movie that I can be proud of without being like, oh, guys, like, you know, it's kind of good.
Right.
Whereas, like, I felt like before when watching, you know, like, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you had to like be the cheerleader.
Yeah, basically, like, it's like, look at, there was this one good shot.
So, like, I'm happy for you, Matt.
It just really makes me sad that, like, you know, there was this all like big wave to get Zack Snyder to finish his cut, and like it's being so well received, so much better than the financial or the theatrical release.
Right.
And Warner Brothers like, it's not canon, whatever. It makes me feel very bitter, and like Warner Brothers, what I assume was thinking that it wasn't going to do as good, but it is doing good, and it kind of beat their stuff. So now they're just like, well, guess what? It's not canon. We get the final laugh.
But it's good that it seems to be doing well with the people who wanted it the most. It seems to be like the people that really wanted it. It really hit them.
And make no mistake, there were a lot of people. There was petition signs. Someone like put up a billboard sign in LA. Like there are people who really wanted this. Cut.
Yeah.
All right, Ethan.
Well, I mean, to continue with what you're saying there, Adam. Like I was one of those people who. Like, because like you saw those people with the billboards release the cut.
Yeah.
I was skeptical.
Yes.
I was skeptical.
I
thought there's nothing here. Like it's just gonna be more nonsense. Like there's no way that like, you know, this guy's cut, whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna like improve the movie that much. But I was wrong. Like it is definitely a vastly better movie, I will say. Like it's not my problems with the movie like are like deep ones or like all the Superman stuff, the thematic stuff. Those are my problems with the movie. But like before in the original I had those problems, but on top of them there were like more technical problems of like things not being explained properly, like characters getting shunted here and there, and like just generally it's just being confusing and like feeling unfinished. But now like the movie is like competent, like it is technically like it is a movie.
Yes,
like things are set up, they are paid off, they make sense, and so while like I'm still not the biggest fan of the whole setting in DC. Like Nick says, this is a movie that you can defend. Like this is definitely like a proper movie, and I can see why people like it. It's not, but yeah, my issues are still like I'm just still like I wish in my heart that Superman hadn't come back, but it's definitely a much better movie. And I think originally, what did I give it, Adam? Was it a 6 out of 10?
You gave it a
let's see.
You gave it a 6 out of 10. Correct.
I gave it I'm gonna say. I'm tempted to give it an 8. I'm tempted.
Oh,
I'm tempted.
Okay.
Because watching it the first time, I watched it in 2 chunks because I didn't want to watch the whole thing. I watched it I broke it up in half.
Wise choice.
But like talking about it during this review, I feel like I like it more because we've gone over all the stuff that they did better.
Yes.
So like I'm gonna say tentatively an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I'll give it to him. You know,
all right.
I'll give it to him.
All right. Ethan's feeling generous today. Okay. All right. I have to agree with Ethan in that like honestly like I didn't really like the movie as much. But talking about it with all of you, and it could just be because I love all of you that much, but like, I actually I like the movie kind of like a lot more now that I've talked about it with all of you. I think all the problems that I've had are things that we've spoken about, whether it be Superman's character, Batman's a little wasted, Atlantean's a little wasted, blah blah blah. But the biggest thing for me that I don't like about this movie is the length. It's so long, and as someone who watched it in one sitting twice, it's just like it is so hard to get through.
It did need to be this.
And like there are so many times where you're like, dude, you could cut this, you could cut that, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
The other thing I have to say that I'm not the biggest fan of is like even though the character work is still really really good and vastly improved in this one, the general plot is still like not that interesting. And that's like the thing for me that holds it back.
That's true.
Like it's really not like it's like you got some dude and like Steppenwolf got a bit more to do obviously, but it's still kind of like a little bit boring in terms of what actually happens because the general plot is still the same. We just have a lot of other things kind of going on. That
mother boxes, God.
Yes, mother boxes. That being said, there's still so much that are really, really well done here. I like I said before, the character work is really what stands out to me, especially for Cyborg and for Flash, aka Barry Allen. Really, really well done stuff. And the other thing I have to say as well is just I have to applaud Zach for having such an unapologetically creative vision. Like this is his, and you cannot take that away from him. And you can say that you don't like it, but I do think it's worth noting how much of a victory it is that a creator, an artist, was able to do basically almost everything that he wanted. That's so rare these days.
It would have just been quietly deleted.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think it's a win for all creators, artists out there that something like this did happen. Because it's basically like
it was actually
opera.
The selling point.
Yeah, it's like a superhero opera kind of thing. But that being said, I know I gave the original one a rental, and like I'm still tempted to give it like a high rental because of how long it is.
Yeah.
I'm like teetering on like low rental or actually high rental, low matinee. That's what it is for me. And I know like that makes it sound harsh, but I do want to say I do like the movie, and it was an improvement over the Joss Whedon cut. Now, granted, that's probably because the Joss Whedon cut was never that great, but it's still really, really good. And I think one thing I do wonder is like how all of us would react if we saw this for the first time without seeing the Joss Whedon cut. Like, are we just saying it's really good because of how bad the Joss Whedon cut is?
It's so hard to tell.
Yeah,
right?
That's what my point was at the beginning.
Yeah, it is a question in my head of how good this movie actually is on its own merit. Regardless, like I'm just gonna give it a mix. A high rental, low matinee.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had a lot of different opinions across the board. I want to thank all of you for coming on and for putting so much of your time on a Saturday night to come here. But before we go,
this is the same length as the movie.
Yeah, basically the same length as the movie. Before we
by
go,
8 minutes.
we have to do what we always do. Any
You could have watched the movie instead of listening to our review.
Yeah. Are there any shout outs you want to give, or like, is there anything you want people to follow you at? You know, starting with Jake.
No.
Don't follow me. Go away.
Follow me on fucking ResearchGate. I'll
ResearchGate?
have a paper out eventually.
There's always ResearchGate.
ResearchGate. Got it. Remember the brand, Adam.
Remember the brand.
Remember the brand.
Darren?
DZ approved. You can find me Snapchat, Instagram. Do I really got to do this?
You don't have to, bro.
You don't have
to. It's okay.
But that's where I'm at. Try and find me.
Word.
Just try and find me.
Do you still sell longboards?
No, don't do that.
Okay.
Anymore. There are a lot of licenses.
Never mind.
Changed, but that's something we can talk about when we got time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Austin, any shout outs you want to give?
I got
anywhere?
No.
No.
It's a Big Frank. That's
Okay.
it.
Shout out to
If
Big
you
Frank.
know, you know. That's it.
Yeah, if you know, you know for sure. Matt?
I mean, sort of, but not really. I ain't got no shout outs.
Okay.
We're all just off social media.
Up to you.
Alright. No, wait. Social media is not good for you. Sorry, don't follow us. Gotta go.
I agree. Ethan, anything? Any shout outs you want to give?
No, go away.
Nothing? All right.
Yeah, get the fuck off me.
All right.
I gave you 4 hours of my life. I'm done. It's over.
All right, everyone.
All the content you're getting.
Thank you.
Adam, list yours.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Adam_bomb with 2 M's. Also, the podcast is now available on Spotify and many other platforms.
Spotify.
You can just look for the Long Run
What a
Podcast.
concept.
So please follow us there if you want to stay
Listen
tuned
to us
for
while
our
you drive.
content. We have a couple more reviews coming up, which we're very
do?
excited about. So stay tuned for that.
That's right, Ethan.
Thank you so much for watching, and take care of yourselves, okay?
They're listening.
Good night, everybody.
Adam. Podcast. They're not watching.
Well, they could be watching on YouTube. Ethan. All right, everyone.
Anyways.
All right, everyone. Peace.
Stay safe.
Goodbye.
Yeah.